Chapter 1672. Few, after safely rushing out of the shadow of the formation, Murong-yu could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. If he had not captured Meng-Man, it would have been extremely difficult for him to leave the shadow of the formation. Like now, under the indiscriminate attacks of the Phoenix clan and the Demon clan, Murong-yu had nowhere to hide. Once his figure was revealed, other than being exiled indefinitely, he could only be killed. Moreover, whether or not the infinite exile could succeed was also a problem. Meng-Man, well done, Murong-yu said to Meng-Man through voice transmission. Of course, Murong-yu was just expressing his gratitude. As for whether Meng-Man was really willing to surrender, Murong-yu still had doubts. However, at least he was not playing any tricks now. Moreover, even if Meng-Man was not sincere, Murong-yu did not care. Before handing him over to Xianhua, Murong-yu would definitely control his soul. After praising Meng-Man, Murong-yu looked around. At the same time, his enormous divine thought spread out. Soon, he found something strange tens of millions of miles away. Aside from that place, Murong-yu didn't discover anything else out of the ordinary. Only the place where the abnormality was discovered could be the real array. In other words, the real formation was tens of millions of miles away. If it were not for Hichu's extraordinary knowledge, if it were anyone else, even if they were killed by the shadow of the formation, they would not know that the real formation was tens of millions of miles away. That is where the real formation is. Those people are hiding in the formation. However, Feng Qiankuan has already left the formation. According to the method of leaving the shadow of the formation, he can enter the formation and even control the formation. At this time, Meng-Man's voice sounded in Murong-yu's ears. Control the formation? Murong-yu's eyes flashed with a bright light. The reason why he stayed here was to control this formation for his own use. Immediately, Murong-yu did not hesitate. He unfolded his figure and flew toward the location of the formation. During this process, the attacks from the projection of the formation had already covered the sky and earth. Indiscriminate attacks. However, Murong-yu seemed to have disappeared into thin air. He was not blasted out at all. Feng Qiankuan and the others did not suspect anything. This was because they believed that Murong-yu would never be able to leave the projection of the array. The reason why he didn't appear was because Murong-yu's ability to conceal himself was too terrifying. Even Feng Qiankuan thought so. Moreover, the more he felt that Murong-yu was powerful, the stronger Feng Qiankuan's desire to kill Murong-yu became. This was because once he killed Murong-yu, he would be able to take everything from Murong-yu, including his physical body, cultivation method, combat skills, and so on. However, they would never have thought that Murong-yu had already escaped from the shadow of the formation. At this moment, Murong-yu had already charged towards their lair. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The method of entering and exiting the real formation and the projection of the formation was actually exactly the same. Meng-Man's method was flawless. Presumably, Meng-Man hated Feng Qiankuan to the core. In the formation, other than Feng Qiankuan, there are 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking controlling the formation. There are 5 from the Phoenix clan and 5 from the Demon clan, Meng-Man explained as Murong-yu entered the formation. In fact, there was no need for Meng-Man's explanation. Murong-yu had already discovered the existence of these 10 people. The 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking were sitting cross-legged on the ground. Waves of power were constantly surging out of their bodies and quickly surging into the formation to maintain its operation. In reality, Murong-yu had already understood what was going on after a single glance. Although the 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking were powerful, the power they unleashed was not enough to maintain the operation of the entire formation. After all, the power required for the operation and projection of the formation was too terrifying. The power of the 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking was, at best, a guide. The main contributors were the countless Saint veins that were piled up in the formation. Every second, hundreds of Saint Meridians would be depleted. Moreover, these Saint veins were all high-grade. There were no low-grade Saint veins at all. One could imagine how terrifying the power required for the formation was. The power of the 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking was guiding the operation of the entire formation. If any one of them stopped guiding, the formation would immediately malfunction. The projection of the formation would immediately know. Listening to Meng Man's explanation, Murong Yu frowned slightly. Meng Man had already told Murong Yu how to collect the formation. However, if he was alone, it would be impossible for him to collect the formation in a short period of time. Moreover, Murong Yu did not only want to collect the formation. He also wanted to kill Feng Qianquan and all the powerhouses on the Saint ranking from the Phoenix clan and the Demon clan. He wanted to tell the world that if they wanted to kill Murong Yu, they had to be prepared to be killed. In that case, he could only control these people one by one. After thinking for a while, Murong Yu directly controlled Meng Man's soul. Then, he helped Meng Man recover from the injuries on his physical body. Meng Man had nothing to resist, unless he wanted to die. In fact, when he decided to follow Xianhua, he had already expected this day to come. Whether it was Murong Yu, Xianhua, or even Meng Man himself, none of them believed that a powerhouse on the Saint ranking who was ranked 90,000 on the Saint ranking would sincerely submit to a junior. Whoosh! In the formation, Meng Man appeared in front of a powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan. Master Meng Man. Meng Man's ranking on the Saint ranking was higher than these people. Moreover, they were all from the Demon clan. Therefore, these powerhouses on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan respected Meng Man very much. At least on the surface. Moreover, because these people were on the formation, they did not know what was happening on the projection of the formation. They also did not know that Meng Man's soul had been controlled by Murong Yu. Meng Man nodded coldly and motioned for the powerhouse from the Demon clan to continue guiding the formation. The powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan did not suspect anything and focused all his attention on the formation. On the other hand, Meng Man quickly approached and suddenly made his move. At the same time, Murong Yu also made his move and directly sucked the powerhouse on the Saint ranking into the Hichu Luoshu. However, in the next instant, the powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan reappeared in the formation. Of course, even though he had only disappeared for a moment, the entire formation was still affected. Of course, it was only a slight effect and the others did not care. However, what the others did not know was that in that instant, the powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan had been controlled by Murong Yu. The formation was very large and the real formation was just like the projection of the formation. It was white and misty. Therefore, no one knew that Murong Yu had subdued the powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan. Therefore, Murong Yu continued. Soon, 5 powerhouses on the Saint ranking from the Demon clan had been subdued by Murong Yu without them knowing. 4 powerhouses from the Phoenix clan had also been subdued. However, when he was subduing the 5th powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Phoenix clan, an accident occurred. Just like before, Murong Yu cooperated with Meng Man to suck the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan into the Hichu Luoshu and then suppressed it directly. However, when Murong Yu was trying to control the soul of the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan, he encountered strong resistance. It was not the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan that was resisting, but a second soul that was resisting. The soul of the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan had been controlled by another powerhouse. Just as Murong Yu was trying to control the soul of the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan, Feng Qianquan, who was thousands of miles away, frowned. All of you, stay here and kill Murong Yu. Kick him out. I'll go back to the main station first. If anyone dares to delay, I'll kill them. Feng Qianquan glanced at the powerhouses from the Demon clan with murderous intent. Then, he took a step forward and disappeared on the spot. He actually rushed towards the formation's main body. Trying to escape from my control? What a fool's dream! Feng Qianquan sneered with murderous intent. That's right, he was the one who controlled the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan. He even controlled the powerhouse from the same clan on the Saint ranking. It was obvious how cruel this person was. Just like Morong Yu, he would never control Shengzhen's disciples and his family. The people he controlled were usually his enemies. My soul has been erased? Just as Feng Qianquan was rushing towards the formation, he was surprised to find that the soul of the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan that he was controlling had been erased. This time, Feng Qianquan's murderous intent became even stronger. However, even so, he only thought that the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan had broken free from his control. He never thought that it was Morong Yu's doing. Sacred Lord, the person who controlled me was Feng Qianquan. I think he's already here by now. After being controlled by Morong Yu, the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan immediately explained. Morong Yu was shocked. He never thought that it was Feng Qianquan's doing. However, wasn't that what Morong Yu wanted to see? He was thinking of luring Feng Qianquan over, and then using the formation's power to kill him. Feng Qianquan's strength was stronger than Meng Man's. Even with Morong Yu, it would be difficult for Meng Man and Meng Man to kill Feng Qianquan. After all, it was easy to defeat him, but it couldn't stop him from escaping. If he used the formation's power, Morong Yu had a 90% chance of killing him. Go back first and lure Feng Qianquan into the formation. Then, change the formation immediately. As long as we can trap Feng Qianquan temporarily, I can kill him, Morong Yu said in a deep voice. As long as Feng Qianquan couldn't escape, Morong Yu would have a chance to kill him. Lord Qianquan. Seeing Feng Qianquan's murderous intent, he rushed into the formation without any vigilance. The people in the formation whose souls were controlled by Morong Yu did not show any abnormalities. They bowed to Feng Qianquan as usual. However, Feng Qianquan was even more arrogant than Meng Man. After all, Meng Man still nodded. This guy did not even look at those people and directly rushed to the powerhouse from the Phoenix clan who was controlled by him. Boom! Feng Qianquan attacked. The moment he came, he threw a punch. He did not have any scruples. Chapter 1673. 10 powerhouses on the Saint ranking were guiding the formation together. As long as one of them made a slight mistake, the formation would go wrong. Once the formation went wrong, there would be a flaw in the projection of the formation. What was Morong Yu's strength? Once there was a flaw in the shadow of the formation, he would definitely be able to take the opportunity to escape. It was obvious that Feng Qianquan did not take Morong Yu seriously at all. He did not care if Morong Yu would escape or not. At that moment, in his heart, the powerhouse on the Saint ranking who dared to break free from his control deserved death. Therefore, he had to kill him. Moreover, in his heart, with his strength, killing an ordinary powerhouse on the Saint ranking would not even take 1/10 of an instant. After killing his opponent, Feng Qianquan could take over the formation and begin guiding it. He did not think that Morong Yu could escape the control of the formation in less than 1/10 of an instant. Feng Qianquan's attack was extremely fast. If it were an ordinary powerhouse on the Saint ranking, he would have been killed by a punch before he could even react. Feng Qianquan originally thought so too. However, what he did not expect was that just as his fist was about to kill the powerhouse on the Saint ranking from the Phoenix clan, there was a sudden change. Feng Qianquan knew the way to enter and exit the formation. Therefore, the formation in front of him was originally a flat land. However, just a moment ago, the entire formation was shrouded in white mist. Shrouded in mist. This was the result that would only happen if someone who did not understand formations entered the formation. Or perhaps the formation began to attack him. Feng Qianquan's expression changed immediately. He did not think that there was anything wrong with the way he entered the formation. Then, there was only one possibility now. He was being attacked by the formation. As expected, just as Feng Qianquan's expression changed, a terrifying force had already torn through the void. It locked onto Feng Qianquan and attacked him fiercely. Damn it! Feng Qianquan cursed in his heart. He took a wrong step and appeared in another position in a flash, trying to avoid the attack of the force. However, what made him furious was that the force had already locked onto him. No matter where he appeared, it would attack him. How dare you! Feng Qianquan growled angrily and stopped dodging. His fist, which was originally aimed at the expert on the saint ranking of the Phoenix clan, had gathered all his strength. He threw a punch at the incoming force. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the power of the two sides collided fiercely, and then an earth-shattering explosion erupted. After the loud bang, Feng Qianquan was sent flying. He was in a sorry state. The offensive power of the array formation dissipated as well. This wasn't just the power of 10 experts on the saint rankings. It had been strengthened by the formation. Moreover, the true body of the formation was several times more powerful than the projection of the formation. However, even so, it only sent Feng Qianquan flying. Feng Qianquan wasn't even injured. Although he was in a sorry state, he quickly stood in the middle of the array formation. He also wanted to leave the array formation, but at this time, the array formation had changed, and the method of entering and leaving the array formation was temporarily useless. Very good. Very good. All of you will die. Standing on the spot, Feng Qianquan's expression was ferocious as he gritted his teeth and growled. Although he didn't know why these people suddenly turned against him and started attacking him. However, that was no longer important. These people dared to attack him, so they would all die. They would all be killed by him personally. Those who offended him would all end up like this. Rumble. The experts on the saint ranking who controlled the array formation ignored Feng Qianquan. Or rather, Morong Yu ignored him. Now, what Morong Yu wanted to do the most was to kill Feng Qianquan. Of course, he wanted to control Feng Qianquan more. However, an expert at Feng Qianquan's level would probably rather self-destruct than be controlled by Morong Yu. Therefore, Morong Yu could only choose to kill him first. With one less expert in the Phoenix clan, Morong Yu's resistance to trampling over the Phoenix clan would be reduced. Therefore, the 10 experts on the saint ranking began to attack Feng Qianquan crazily. What's going on? Just as Morong Yu began to attack Feng Qianquan, the projection of the array formation thousands of miles away suddenly disappeared. Everyone was shocked. There were only two possibilities for the disappearance of the array formation's projection. The first possibility was that the main array had stopped projecting, and the second possibility was that the array formation had been broken. What happened? Everyone looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. However, the sudden disappearance of the array formation's projection meant that something must have happened at the main array. Morong Yu was nowhere to be seen. Most importantly, Morong Yu's notoriety had spread throughout the holy world. With his ranking of 10,000 on the saint ranking, he could easily kill the 10 experts on the saint ranking. Therefore, the 10 experts on the saint ranking from the Phoenix clan and the Demon clan moved at the same time and flew toward the main array thousands of miles away. They didn't want to be killed by Morong Yu. However, what they didn't know was that Morong Yu was no longer there. At that moment, Morong Yu was attacking Feng Qianquan. Heavenly King Grand Sage Technique. Spiritual Slash. He signaled the 10 experts on the saint ranking to attack Feng Qianquan in a frenzy. Just as Feng Qianquan was about to retaliate, Morong Yu suddenly made his move. His first move was to attack the mind and soul. A sneak attack? Was that too despicable? Was that not what a gentleman would do? To Morong Yu, anything was fine as long as he could kill his enemy. He didn't care if it was despicable or shameless. Morong Yu appeared and disappeared unpredictably. In addition to his strange attack style, Feng Qianquan was hit. He was stunned on the spot. With a boom, A terrifying force came crashing down on Feng Qianquan's body. Bang! Feng Qianquan's strength was terrifying, and his ranking on the saint ranking was over 90,000. However, he couldn't withstand the attack of the array formation. His entire body would explode, turning into a cloud of blood mist and vanishing from the world. However, Feng Qianquan was indeed powerful. Although his physical body was destroyed and his soul was damaged, his soul was not annihilated. With a whoosh, Feng Qianquan's soul turned into a stream of light, smashing through the void and shooting toward the distant sky in an attempt to escape the attack. However, Murong Yu had already expected this. The moment Feng Qianquan's soul shot out, Murong Yu's soul power turned into a giant saber and slashed at Feng Qianquan's soul in a split second. Squeak! Feng Qianquan's soul let out a sharp, ear-piercing shriek. Then, it exploded into pieces. Devour! A cold murderous intent flashed in Murong Yu's eyes. The devouring ability of the soul was immediately activated, devouring and merging with Feng Qianquan's soul. Feng Qianquan was dead. Ha ha ha! Meng Man suddenly laughed out loud, his face full of ferocity. Looking at Meng Man, who was laughing ferociously, Murong Yu had a strange feeling in his heart. However, after thinking about it seriously, he couldn't figure out what that strange feeling was. As for Meng Man, Murong Yu had already controlled his soul. He wouldn't give Murong Yu the feeling that something was wrong. Let them in the array formation. Just as Murong Yu was about to figure out where the strange feeling in his heart came from, he saw 10 rays of light shooting toward him at an extremely fast speed. Who else could it be other than the experts on the saint ranking of the Phoenix clan and the Demon clan who were controlling the shadows of the array formation to attack Murong Yu? Seeing these people coming, Murong Yu couldn't help but sneer. He was worried about how to subdue these people, so he ordered the experts on the saint ranking who were controlling the array formation to let them in. At the same time, Murong Yu's body swayed, and he transformed into Feng Qianquan's appearance and walked out. Murong Yu is in the main array. The few of you enter the array formation and control it together. You must kill Murong Yu in the main array formation, Feng Qianquan said with a gloomy face and a murderous aura. The 10 experts on the saint rankings were all shocked. They looked at each other and then rushed into the array formation. It wasn't that they didn't suspect Murong Yu. However, not only did Murong Yu look exactly the same as Feng Qianquan, even the aura of his soul was the same. Moreover, the array formation's projection had been shattered, and there was no trace of Murong Yu. This made them believe that Murong Yu was 80 to 90% of the time. Suppress them. After the 10 experts on the saint ranking rushed into the array formation, Murong Yu immediately gave the 10 experts on the saint ranking who were controlling the array formation an order. Instantly, the 10 experts on the saint ranking met with tragedy. First, they were separated by the array formation. Then, they were suppressed by Murong Yu one by one. These people's strength was far inferior to Feng Qianquan. Even Feng Qianquan was trapped by the array formation and couldn't leave, let alone them. As a result, the number of experts on the saint ranking under Murong Yu's control increased by 10. Excluding Meng Man, Murong Yu had 20 more experts on the saint ranking under his control today. If he added the experts on the saint ranking under his control and Zhao Jiqing and the others, he had 49 experts on the saint ranking. That was a terrifying number. One should know that in the entire holy world, there were only 108,000 experts on the saint ranking. Including those who had the strength of an expert on the saint ranking but were pushed out of the saint ranking, there were no more than 200,000 experts on the saint ranking in the entire holy world. In the holy world, there were more than 10,000 clans. On average, even if there were 200,000 experts on the saint ranking, each clan would only have 20 experts on the saint ranking. Of course, some of the weaker clans wouldn't have experts on the saint ranking. The experts on the saint ranking were mainly concentrated in the big clans, such as the Human clan, the Demon Clan, the Dragon Clan, and the Phoenix Clan. However, even the Phoenix Clan had less than 100 experts on the Saint ranking. Murong Yu alone had 49 experts on the Saint ranking with just one Shengzhen. Moreover, that was only for now. As time passed, Murong Yu would have more and more experts on the Saint ranking under his control. Let's go. Let's go to the Blue Wave Clan. After Murong Yu put the array formation into the Hichu Luoshu, he was about to leave. However, at that moment, a figure suddenly appeared behind him. An incomparably huge fist, carrying with it terrifying flames that could destroy the heavens and earth, ruthlessly smashed towards Murong Yu. Murong Yu sensed something. He turned around and was shocked. The person who attacked him was none other than Feng Qiankuan, who was killed by him, and even his soul was devoured. Feng Qiankuan didn't die. Chapter 1674. Feng Qiankuan was not dead. Murong Yu's shock was no small matter. One must know that he had watched Feng Qiankuan being killed by the formation's power. Murong Yu had even devoured Feng Qiankuan's soul himself. After devouring Feng Qiankuan's soul, Murong Yu's soul had improved a little. Although it was not much, it was still an improvement. Moreover, it was definitely not an illusion. However, Feng Qiankuan had been resurrected? Or was he not dead at all? However, Murong Yu was at least certain that Feng Qiankuan was definitely dead. However, now that he had been resurrected, there was only one possibility. That meant that Feng Qiankuan had cultivated the Phoenix's nirvana, and he had at least cultivated it to lesser mastery. At the very least, he had a second life. After being killed by Murong Yu, Feng Qiankuan still had a chance to be reborn because he had cultivated the Phoenix's nirvana. In other words, he still had a chance to be resurrected. Now, Feng Qiankuan had been resurrected. It was a long story, but in fact, these thoughts only flashed through Murong Yu's mind for a split second. After Murong Yu came to his senses, he was no longer surprised. His body swayed, and he took a step forward, wanting to rush into the distance. At the same time, he threw a punch at Feng Qiankuan. Boom! Feng Qiankuan chose to resurrect at this time, and at the same time, he launched a sneak attack on Murong Yu. He wanted to kill Murong Yu with one hit. Therefore, his attack was his strongest attack at the moment. In the blink of an eye, Feng Qiankuan's attack had already arrived before Murong Yu had the chance to rush out. After a loud bang, Murong Yu's fist and his entire arm were blown up by Feng Qiankuan's punch. On the other hand, Feng Qiankuan's attack only paused for a moment, and then he quickly and fiercely bombarded Murong Yu's body. It was so fast that even Murong Yu did not have time to react. With a bang, Murong Yu's body exploded, turning into a cloud of blood mist that bloomed in the sky. Die! Looking at Murong Yu's rapidly escaping soul, Feng Qiankuan roared. He stretched out his hand and grabbed at the air. Heavenly King Great Sage Technique. Soul Slash. Although Murong Yu was only in soul form, he could still attack. Moreover, Murong Yu had already taken out his various treasures. With a bang, Feng Qiankuan's claw reached out and grabbed Hichu Luoshu. It turned out that Murong Yu had already summoned the Hichu Luoshu when he discovered Feng Qiankuan. However, all of this happened too quickly. The He-Tu and the Book of the Luo only appeared now. However, it was not too late. It happened to block Feng Qiankuan's attack. Seeing that it was Hichu Luoshu, Feng Qiankuan's eyes flashed with a cold glint. He roared in his heart and exerted force with his big hand, intending to take away Hichu Luoshu. However, at that moment, Murong Yu's attack had already landed. It was an attack on the soul and mind. Feng Qiankuan had suffered a lot in the past. It was precisely because of these attacks that he was killed by Murong Yu. Therefore, when the same dangerous aura appeared in his heart, Feng Qiankuan did not hesitate at all. He moved his body and retreated rapidly. Just as Feng Qiankuan was retreating, Murong Yu's sneer sounded in his ears. Feng Qiankuan, you've been tricked. Before his voice fell, Morong Yu once again appeared in Feng Qiankuan's sight. At that moment, Morong Yu's body had already recovered. Hichu Luoshu emitted an earthy yellow holy light and floated above his head. Rays of holy light poured down, firmly protecting Morong Yu. Above him, the scripture of mountains and seas was also emitting a terrifying aura as it slowly rotated. As long as Morong Yu was willing, it could launch an attack at any time. Looking at Morong Yu, Feng Qiankuan stopped with a gloomy expression. At this moment, he finally understood what Morong Yu's words meant. The Heavenly King Great Holy Technique and Spiritual Slash did not have much power. They only had the appearance but no actual attack power. After all, they were only cast by Morong Yu's soul. Without the support of power, they naturally did not have much power. The reason why Morong Yu did that was to scare Feng Qiankuan and buy him time to recover his body. Now, he had achieved his goal. You're courting death. Feng Qiankuan was furious. He shattered the void thousands of miles under his feet. His body suddenly turned into a stream of light and charged toward Morong Yu. Morong Yu frowned slightly. Without any hesitation, he once again cast the Heavenly King Great Holy Technique and Spiritual Slash. Feng Qiankuan was very powerful. Morong Yu was no match for him in terms of strength. He could only use these attacks. As expected, after Feng Qiankuan sensed the same dangerous aura, he immediately dodged. He did not dare to approach Morong Yu at all. Soul attacks were still fine. As long as Morong Yu did not cut off his soul immediately, he could take the opportunity to kill Morong Yu. However, once he lost his mind, even if it was only for 1/10 of an instant, Morong Yu could easily kill him with his strength. Feng Qiankuan, I wonder what level you've cultivated the nirvana of the phoenix to? Minor success? Great success? Or perfection? While attacking, Morong Yu sneered. Feng Qiankuan was shocked. He was surprised that Morong Yu knew about the nirvana of the phoenix. One should know that even in the Phoenix clan, not many people knew about this technique. Only those who had reached the level of the holy ranking were qualified to cultivate this technique. At the same time, it was strictly forbidden to leak it. It was the supreme technique of the Phoenix clan. At minor success, you'll have 1 chance to revive. At great success, you'll have 2 chances to revive. At perfection, you'll have 3 chances to revive. Feng Qiankuan, you're very powerful, but it's impossible for you to reach perfection. Then, you can only reach great success at most. Morong Yu said with a smile as he attacked. It was as if he was talking to a friend. However, his words caused great psychological pressure to Feng Qiankuan. Feng Qiankuan had a feeling that Morong Yu was not just talking about it. Even if you reach great success, you'll have 2 chances to revive. However, you've already used 1 chance just now. In other words, you only have 1 chance to revive now. In other words, as long as I kill you 2 more times, you'll cease to exist in the holy world. Feng Qiankuan was furious. Morong Yu, you're too arrogant. Do you really think you can kill me? That's a fantasy. If it weren't for that formation, you'd be dreaming if you wanted to kill me. Today I'll kill you. Hearing Feng Qiankuan's words, Morong Yu was not angry at all. On the contrary, a bright smile appeared on his face. Feng Qiankuan, you're right. I can't kill you with my strength alone. Even with Meng Man's help, it won't be easy to kill you. Just like you said, I'm relying on the formation. At this point, Feng Qiankuan's expression suddenly changed. An extremely strong aura of death suddenly surged into his heart. In shock, he took a step forward and quickly disappeared from where he was. Boom! The moment he disappeared, an extremely terrifying force blasted down. It directly tore the void and the ground where Feng Qiankuan was originally standing into dust. At the same time, Feng Qiankuan, who had already rushed to the other side, was already trapped in an endless fog. Formation. Feng Qiankuan's heart sank. He knew that he had fallen into a formation. Morong Yu, you're too despicable. Feng Qianquan roared angrily after he came to his senses. Obviously, while they were talking, Murong Yu had secretly activated the formation that belonged to Feng Qianquan. For the first time, Murong Yu used the power of the formation to kill Feng Qianquan. This time, Murong Yu planned to use the formation to kill Feng Qianquan. Just as Murong Yu said, as long as he killed Feng Qianquan twice in a row, Feng Qianquan would definitely die. Feng Qianquan also understood this, so he unleashed his strongest attack and began to find flaws. However, his strength was strong, but it had not reached the level of defying the heavens. Under the control of Murong Yu and the others, the power of the formation became more and more terrifying. In the beginning, Feng Qianquan took the initiative and attacked the formation crazily. However, later on, he stopped attacking because all his strength was used to defend. The formation's attack was too terrifying. Even if Feng Qianquan defended with all his strength, he was still bombarded into a sorry state. However, for the time being, he could still block these attacks. However, he did not have the strength to break the formation. At this time, Murong Yu also launched his attack. Heavenly King Grand Sage Technique. Spiritual Soul Slash. Murong Yu only used these two combat skills to launch the most ferocious attacks. Once Feng Qianquan's mind was distracted, Murong Yu would take the opportunity to attack. However, perhaps it was because he was in a life-and-death situation, Feng Qianquan performed exceptionally well. Although Murong Yu's Heavenly King Grand Sage technique still had an effect on him, it was almost negligible. Feng Qianquan, die! Meng Man roared and rushed out of the formation, attacking Feng Qianquan again. Feng Qianquan groaned inwardly. He retreated quickly and dodged Meng Man's attack. Although his ranking was higher than Meng Man's, the difference was not that big. Moreover, he still had to defend against the formation's attack. Die! Murong Yu's voice suddenly sounded behind Feng Qianquan. Feng Qianquan was shocked. He immediately transferred all his strength to his soul space to protect his soul and mind. However, this time, Murong Yu did not attack his soul or mind. Instead, he attacked with his strength. Bam! With a loud sound, Murong Yu's fist, which was condensed with his strongest strength, slammed into Feng Qianquan's body. Feng Qianquan's body instantly exploded. Feng Qianquan was about to vomit blood. He wanted nothing more than to curse Murong Yu for being shameless. Haven't you always been using soul attacks? Why did you suddenly use your strength to attack? Are you messing with me? However, he did not have time to curse now. He had to escape. Inevitably, he would die without a doubt. He was killed by Murong Yu even when he had a physical body, let alone a soul. Chapter 1675. Swoosh. Murong Yu stretched out his hand, passing through endless time and space, and grabbed Feng Qianquan's soul. This time, Murong Yu did not choose to destroy Feng Qianquan's soul. Murong Yu could not guarantee whether Feng Qianquan had a third life. If he did not, Feng Qianquan would really die if he killed his soul. Murong Yu did not want to take the risk because he wanted to subdue Feng Qianquan and control his soul. He wanted to make Feng Qianquan his slave. Therefore, when he attacked this time, he only grabbed Feng Qianquan. Looking at Murong Yu's hand that was quickly grabbing at him, Feng Qianquan was extremely anxious. At this point, how could he still not understand? Meng Man, as well as the experts on the saint ranking from the Phoenix clan and the Demon clan, were probably controlled by Murong Yu. Otherwise, why would those people be willing to be controlled by Murong Yu? Feng Qianquan was extremely shocked that Murong Yu could control so many experts on the saint ranking. Moreover, if Murong Yu could control Meng Man, he could also control him. As the second strongest patriarch of the Phoenix clan, he had his pride. He would rather die than be controlled. Once he was taken down, Murong Yu would definitely control him. Therefore, he had to escape. However, What made him despair was that the powerful formation that originally belonged to him had already deeply trapped him at this moment. He had nowhere to run. Seeing that Morong Yu's hand was about to grab him, Feng Qianquan gritted his teeth. Feng Qianquan gritted his teeth and glared at Morong Yu with hatred. His heart was filled with determination. Boom! At this moment, just as Morong Yu's hand was about to grab Feng Qianquan's soul suddenly exploded. The terrifying power even shattered Morong Yu's hand. Self-destructing his soul? With a thought, Morong Yu restored the hand that had been blown apart. However, his expression was extremely ugly. Not even a fragment of his soul was left behind. He didn't leave anything behind for Morong Yu. On the contrary, it caused Morong Yu to lose some of his strength. However, Morong Yu also admired Feng Qianquan. This guy really had perseverance. He was actually so determined to self-destruct. There was a saying that went, "A bad life is better than a good death." There weren't many people who were determined enough to commit suicide. Of course, that did not rule out the possibility that Feng Qianquan had a third or even a fourth life. If he had more lives, even if he died this time, he could still be resurrected. It was just that he had lost a life. He wasn't really dead. It was obvious that Meng Man had also thought of this problem. Holy Lord, based on my understanding of this fellow, he is definitely not someone who would dare to commit suicide. This guy can definitely be resurrected. Morong Yu nodded. He had also guessed it. However, after Feng Qianquan committed suicide, it was as if he was dead. He no longer existed. Morong Yu couldn't find him at all, so he killed him completely. If he wanted to kill him, he could only wait until he was resurrected. However, Morong Yu, who had also cultivated the Phoenix's Nirvana technique, had a good understanding of this technique. As long as he cultivated the Phoenix's Nirvana to a lower level or higher, he would have the opportunity to be reborn. However, the time of rebirth was not fixed. He could be resurrected immediately after death. He could also be resurrected after a long time. The time could be delayed up to 1,000 years. The stronger he was, the longer the time he could delay his resurrection. After all, in the state of death, he would consume a lot of his energy. Generally, powerhouses on the saint ranking could be resurrected within 10 years. As for powerhouses on the saint ranking like Feng Qianquan, they could be delayed for at least 100 years. If Morong Yu was fine, he could guard here for 100 years, or even 1,000 years. After all, Feng Qianquan committed suicide here. He could only be resurrected nearby. However, Morong Yu was here for the heart of the ocean this time. After 100 years, there would be nothing left of the heart of the ocean. Compared to subduing Feng Qianquan, it was more important to seize the heart of the ocean and let Yu Mengqing enter the saint ranking. However, he was unwilling to give up just like that. After all, if he could kill Feng Qianquan, it would greatly weaken the Phoenix tribe. Once he subdued Feng Qianquan, it would not be as simple as weakening the Phoenix tribe. Shengzhen's strength would also skyrocket. Swoosh! Just as Morong Yu was hesitating, an incomparably enormous divine sense swept across space and time from afar, sweeping across the area. When the enormous divine thought swept across Morong Yu's body, all the hair on Morong Yu's body stood on end. An intense aura of death instantly enveloped his heart. Morong Yu was shocked. He knew that the owner of the divine thought was definitely a powerhouse on the saint ranking. Moreover, it was a powerhouse who was ranked very high on the saint ranking. Even if he was not as strong as Yu Yangjiao, he was definitely much stronger than the rest of them. If the other party wanted to kill Morong Yu felt that he would not be able to withstand the other party's attack. Fortunately, the enormous divine thought only swept across his body. It did not stay on him at all. This caused Morong Yu to heave a huge sigh of relief. After all, encountering a powerhouse who he could not resist was something he did not want to see. Just as Morong Yu breathed a sigh of relief, he heard an extremely soft sound of surprise coming from the void. Murong Yu's heart skipped a beat. Then, without any hesitation, he rushed into the Hichu Luoshu. However, it was already too late. Just as he thought about it, the terrifying divine thought turned back and directly enveloped Murong Yu. At this moment, Murong Yu felt that the surrounding void was frozen. Even his physical body and soul seemed to be frozen. He could not move at all. It was difficult to move. Whoosh! At the same time, a figure tore through the void and appeared directly in front of Murong Yu. It was a middle-aged beardless man in a green robe. His face was handsome and he was a charming man. However, Murong Yu felt an extremely strong murderous intent and a familiar aura from the man. "You killed my son?" The middle-aged man sized up Murong Yu and then looked at Murong Yu indifferently. Although his voice was calm, Murong Yu felt a strong murderous intent from it. "Your son?" Murong Yu's face was filled with confusion. This was not an act by Murong Yu. In fact, Murong Yu had killed a lot of people. However, who knew which one was this middle-aged man's son? Thinking of this, Murong Yu looked at the man in green robe and was shocked. Because the power radiating from the man in green robe was too strong. Although it was not as strong as Yu Yangjia and Feng Tsangqiong, it was not much worse. This person was definitely in the top 30 of the holy list. Whose father was so strong? Murong Yu thought for a while but had no impression at all. Seeing Murong Yu's confused look, a cold murderous intent flashed across the man in green robe's eyes. He couldn't help but snort. "My name is Xiao Yang, the Azura clan's patriarch." Murong Yu immediately spat out. He was frightened by this man in green robe. This guy was actually the Azura clan's patriarch? In the holy clans, the Azura clan was the same as the Phoenix clan and the Dragon clan. They were all peak clans and extremely powerful. What made Murong Yu depressed was that he was just passing by the Azura clan but encountered an expert at the level of the Azura clan's patriarch. Little did he know that it was their battle that attracted Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang just habitually used his divine sense to sweep over and found that Murong Yu had his son's aura on him. His son, Xiao Qing, had been killed a long time ago. The aura on Murong Yu's body must have been added by Xiao Qing using a special method when he killed him. Therefore, Xiao Yang could feel it. At this time, Murong Yu also remembered what was going on. Back then in Wenzhen's secret territory, the Infernal Department was ambushed and almost completely wiped out. The people who ambushed them were from the Azura clan and the leader was Xiao Qing. At that time, although Murong Yu was weak, his physical body was extremely strong and killed Xiao Qing, who had reached the level of primal chaos ancestor saint. It seemed that Xiao Qing's background was so terrifying. However, even if he knew that Xiao Yang was Xiao Qing's father, Murong Yu would still kill him. Murong Yu also understood why the Infernal Department had almost been wiped out. Even Yu Yangjia, who was ranked 10th on the saint rankings, had almost been killed. The Azura clan was so strong that they definitely had many treasures. It wasn't impossible for them to set up an ambush and kill Yu Yangjia. If not for Murong Yu, the Azura clan might have succeeded. However, Murong Yu didn't understand why Yu Yangjia didn't take revenge on the Azura clan after the incident. With his strength, he could definitely sweep through the Azura clan. "That's right, I killed your son. Not just your son, but your Azura clan will also be trampled by me. From the day you attacked my Infernal Department, we were destined to fight to the death." Murong Yu said coldly. He didn't fear Xiao Yang at all. So what if he was in the top 30 of the saint rankings? At most, he would just kill Murong Yu once. Murong Yu had already cultivated the Phoenix's nirvana. Even if he was killed, he could still be resurrected. Very well. Xiao Yang smiled coldly. A cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He reached out his hand and was about to kill Murong Yu. However, at that moment, his expression suddenly changed. The hand that was originally going to slap Murong Yu turned into a grab and grabbed onto Murong Yu. In the next moment, he took a step and disappeared from where he was. Whoosh! Not long after Xiao Yang and Morong Yu disappeared, a figure appeared out of thin air where Morong Yu had been. Who else could it be but Feng Qiankuan? Morong Yu, you caused me to lose 2 lives. I will not live under the same sky as you. If you don't die, I will kill you myself in the future. Feng Qiankuan's face was full of hatred as he looked in the direction where Xiao Yang and Morong Yu had disappeared. Chapter 1676. Let's not talk about the venomous Feng Qiankuan. On the other side, Morong Yu's body and soul were being suppressed by the horrifying Azura race leader, Xiao Yang. However, just as Xiao Yang was about to kill Morong Yu, he suddenly changed his mind. Regarding this, Morong Yu did not know what was going on. However, he knew that it was definitely not because Xiao Yang was merciful and did not kill him. The sudden change in Xiao Yang's expression did not escape Morong Yu's eyes. This fellow must have met with something. Furthermore, it was something extremely important and urgent. In fact, Xiao Yang did not even have the time to kill Morong Yu. Xiao Yang's strength was indeed horrifying. He did not seem to have done anything at all. All he did was take a single step. The distance of this single step caused Morong Yu to be extremely shocked. Morong Yu pondered. Even if he were to fly with all his might, the distance he could cover would not even be 1/10, 0.000th of Xiao Yang's. In other words, if Morong Yu could cover a mile in a single step, Xiao Yang could cover 10,000 miles in a single step. Given Morong Yu's current speed, how much distance could he cover in a single step? That was an extremely horrifying distance. However, Xiao Yang was even more horrifying. Furthermore, Xiao Yang did not travel through the void at all. He was merely traveling at his own speed. This had Morong Yu sighing endlessly. Xiao Yang was indeed a horrifying powerful being in the top 30 of the saint rankings. His strength was far beyond his imagination. However, Morong Yu was not envious of anything. As long as he did not die prematurely, his strength would definitely surpass Xiao Yang's. By then, Morong Yu would have no problem crossing the entire saint's world in a single step. At the start, Morong Yu was grabbed by Xiao Yang's hands and followed him forward. After a period of time, perhaps it was because he felt that his speed was not fast enough while holding on to Morong Yu. Therefore, Xiao Yang tossed Morong Yu into a spatial treasure. Looking at how he was tossed into a spatial treasure, Morong Yu could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Although he was still imprisoned by Xiao Yang's power, he wasn't being held by Xiao Yang. When he was caught by Xiao Yang, Morong Yu did not dare to make any strange movements, let alone attack these seals. He was afraid that he would attract Xiao Yang's attention and end up being crushed by Xiao Yang. After all, even though Morong Yu had cultivated the Phoenix's nirvana, he did not feel that his life was too long. Who would want to die if they could? Thus, Morong Yu began to attack Xiao Yang's seal with all his might. At the same time that Morong Yu was attacking the seal, Xiao Yang's speed soared once again, and he quickly traversed through the void. In the end, Xiao Yang charged into the endless sea. This was the territory of the Blue Wave clan. Although the Blue Wave clan was not as powerful as the Dragon clan and the Phoenix clan, they were still extremely powerful. Especially in the territory of the Blue Wave clan and the Boundless Sea area, the clansmen of the Blue Wave clan could get a boost in strength. In the same realm, the Blue Wave clan could exert more power. Therefore, normally, no one would enter the Endless Sea domain. After all, they did not like to be abused. Moreover, the treasures that appeared in the Blue Wave clan were generally only suitable for the Blue Wave clan. However, during this period of time, a large number of experts had entered the Endless Sea domain. In the beginning, the Blue Wave clan could still use their own strength to deter some people and prevent them from entering the Endless Sea domain. However, as the experts who came over became stronger and stronger, the Blue Wave clan began to feel powerless. The Blue Wave clan could suppress ordinary experts on the holy list. However, they could not do anything to the experts who were ranked higher on the holy list. Especially not long ago, the ancestor of the Phoenix clan, Feng Sangqiong, who was ranked 11th on the holy list, also appeared. There was nothing the Blue Wave clan could do to deal with an expert of this level. Moreover, in addition to Feng Sangqiong, there were some other experts who were ranked higher on the holy list. In the end, the Blue Wave clan had no choice but to give up and let these experts enter the Endless Sea domain one after another. These experts who entered the Endless Sea domain also knew how terrifying the Blue Wave clan was, so they did not cause any trouble. Instead, they flew towards the depths of the Endless Sea domain. In the depths of the Endless Sea domain, there was a huge island, Blue Wave Island. Blue Wave Island was the holy land of the Blue Wave clan. Usually, even the experts of the Blue Wave clan were not allowed to set foot on this island. But now, many experts had gathered on this island. Most of them were experts from other clans. The gathering of these people made everyone in the Blue Wave clan very angry. However, they did not dare to speak out. There was no other way. Many experts on the Blue Wave Island had the ability to kill the entire Blue Wave clan overnight. If they angered them, the Blue Wave clan might be wiped out. Therefore, although the people of the Blue Wave clan were angry, no one dared to do anything out of line. This was really too sullen. In the center of the Blue Wave Island, countless experts gathered here. Each of the experts looked at a place not far in front of them with a dignified expression. In the place where their gazes were focused, a fist-sized, sky-blue, transparent, heart-like existence was emitting sky-blue light and quietly suspended in the void. A vicissitude and vast aura emanated from this heart-like thing. The people around it felt as if they were in the ocean. This was the heart of the ocean. Legend had it that as long as one refined and integrated the heart of the ocean, one could control the endless sea, including rivers, streams, and even places with water. Apart from the people of the Blue Wave clan, no one else cared about controlling the endless sea. After all, except for the people of the Blue Wave clan, no one else lived in the endless sea. Moreover, the endless sea did not affect them much. However, the Blue Wave clan was different. Without the enhancement of the endless sea, the advantage of the Blue Wave clan would be gone. They would immediately fall from being a powerful clan to an ordinary one. The reason why others wanted the heart of the ocean was that it had the ability to become a supreme being. Just like the heart of ice and the heart of devil, after refining and integrating it, it was possible to become a supreme being. Moreover, the heart of the ocean was different from the heart of devil. The heart of devil could only be refined and integrated by people with the devil bloodline. However, anyone could refine and integrate the heart of the ocean. Of course, the more compatible the original body was with the heart of the ocean, the more powerful the original body would be after refining and integrating it. Which cultivator did not want to become a supreme being? Even the mysterious existence, who ranked first on the holy list, also wanted to become a supreme being. However, the heart of the ocean increased their chances of becoming a supreme being. Even experts at their level were tempted. Therefore, Feng Sangqiong also rushed over immediately. In addition to him, there were several people who were ranked very high on the holy list. However, for the time being, Feng Sangqiong was the highest ranked on the holy list. However, even Feng Sangqiong did not dare to make a move at this time. Because some other experts who were also ranked very high on the holy list had already locked on to him. Although these people were not ranked as high as him, if they joined forces, even Feng Sangqiong would not dare to ignore them. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure smashed through the void and appeared in everyone's sight. The others did not say anything, but Feng Sangqiong's pupils shrank suddenly. Xiaoyang? The existence ranked 20th on the holy list? Feng Sangqiong looked at Xiaoyang, who suddenly appeared, and his face darkened. The other experts on the holy list smiled bitterly in their hearts. Originally, Feng Sangqiong alone made their hopes slim. Now there was Xiaoyang, who ranked 20th on the holy list. Would they still have a share in the heart of the ocean? As for those experts below the holy list, Sorry, they had long been reduced to passers-by who watched the show. They basically had no hope in a place where experts on the holy list appeared. Humph! Xiao Yang glanced at everyone indifferently. After a cold snort, he reached out his big hand and directly grabbed the heart of the ocean. A cold light flashed across Feng Sangqiong's eyes. He sneered in his heart and also reached out his big hand. At the same time, the other experts on the holy list also made a move. Rumble in a flash, they had already exchanged a blow. However, it was a draw. The power of both sides dissipated one after another. Do you want to go against my Azura clan? Seeing Feng Sangqiong and the others stopping him, Xiao Yang could not help but be abnormally furious. He took a step forward and glanced at the experts on the holy list with a cold expression. Finally, his eyes fixed on Feng Sangqiong. The other experts on the holy list could not help but stagnate. The strength of the clan behind them was not bad, but compared to the Azura clan, it was still a little lacking. The most important thing was that their individual strength was far inferior to the Azura clan. Therefore, they all fell silent. They did not want to go against the Azura clan directly, but they also did not want to give up the heart of the ocean. Azura clan, what great prestige! Xiao Yang, are you threatening the Feng clan? Feng Sangqiong also took a step forward and sneered at Xiao Yang. The Feng clan was not weak, and his strength was stronger than Xiao Yang. Therefore, he must get the heart of the ocean. As for Xiao Yang, he did not mind going to war with him directly. Feng clan. Xiao Yang sneered. Is it the Feng clan that was suppressed by Morongyu? TSK, suppressed by a human brat. If it were me, I would have already hit the wall and died. Feng Sangqiong's face suddenly became incomparably gloomy. His eyes were filled with resentment. Since the incident with Morongyu, the Feng clan had become the laughingstock of the world. No matter where they went, the Feng clan's clansmen would be laughed at by others. Moreover, when these people laughed, they deliberately highlighted Morongyu and deliberately ignored Yu Yangjia, who played a key role. Therefore, later on, people thought that the Feng clan was suppressed by Morongyu alone. It seems that the Feng clan cannot enter the eyes of the Azura clan? In that case, I will let you see the true strength of the Feng clan today. Feng Sangqiong shouted coldly and took a step forward. His entire person suddenly turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Xiao Yang. Chapter 1677. Boom. At the same time when Feng Sangqiong made his move, Xiao Yang also made his move. One was 11th on the saint list, the other was 20th on the saint list. Both of them were ruthless experts on the saint list. The speed of their moves was extremely fast. Before those peerless experts around them could react, they had already exchanged a blow. After the earth-shaking loud noise, Feng Sangqiong and Xiao Yang were both sent flying. However, the distance that Xiao Yang flew out was a little further than Feng Sangqiong. In other words, Xiao Yang's strength was a little weaker than Feng Sangqiong. However, the gap between the two wasn't very big. Boom, crack, crack, the aftermath of the power that erupted from the two people's bombardment shattered large pieces of the surrounding void. And in this process, those peerless experts who couldn't retreat in time suffered a tragedy. One by one, they were sent flying out with their qi and blood churning. Some unlucky fellows who were closer were directly turned into a cloud of blood mist and were killed directly. They didn't even know how they died. However, there were also some people who were only shaken to the point that their bodies trembled slightly but weren't sent flying. These people were those experts who were ranked at the top of the saint list. Except for Feng Sangqiong and Xiao Yang, although there were no top 100 experts on the saint list present, there were still a few experts in the top 1,000. These people would be Feng Sangqiong's biggest competitors. The reason why Feng Sangqiong attacked Xiao Yang, in addition to wanting to defeat Xiao Yang, was also to intimidate other experts. However, everyone came for the heart of the ocean. How could they be intimidated by Feng Sangqiong? Therefore, these people stood motionless in the same place, indicating their determination. Feng Sangqiong frowned slightly. He swept a glance at everyone and said in a deep voice, "You all also want to go against the Feng clan?" Many experts on the saint list were silent. No one made a sound, but the silence had already deeply betrayed them. The reason why they didn't make a sound was because they didn't want to be the first to stand out. Feng Sangqiong might not be able to do anything to Xiaoyang, but they definitely couldn't resist Feng Sangqiong's attack. "Haha, it's so lively here. It seems that I'm not late." At this moment, a loud laugh came from afar. At the same time, a golden light had already shattered the void and appeared in everyone's sight. Long Qing. Seeing the person who came, Feng Sangqiong immediately shouted. At the same time, his face became even more gloomy, and his eyes flashed with a cold, killing intent. Long Qing. Hearing Feng Sangqiong's words, the surrounding people instantly focused their eyes on Long Qing. Ordinary primal chaos ancestral sages were nothing. However, the expressions of the experts on the saint rankings were very interesting. "He's the strongest existence in the Dragon Clan below the supremacy stage? That genius from the Dragon Clan who's ranked 12th on the saint rankings?" An expert on the saint rankings couldn't help exclaiming. The ordinary primal chaos ancestral saints were shocked when they heard the exclamation of this expert. Perhaps they didn't know how terrifying Long Qing's strength was, but the 12th position on the saint rankings was shocking enough. Legend has it that this Long Qing's true strength is even stronger than Feng Sangqiong. Originally, he had hopes of replacing Feng Sangqiong and becoming the 11th on the saint ranking. Another expert on the saint ranking whispered. Although this person's voice was barely audible, which one of the people present wasn't a peerless expert. Therefore, this person's voice rang clearly in everyone's ears. The others didn't think much of it. At most, they were just shocked. However, Feng Sangqiong's face was very ugly. He stared at the expert on the saint ranking with a gloomy face. His killing intent soared to the sky. That expert on the saint ranking knew that he had said something that he shouldn't have, so he immediately shut up. "Long Qing, you also want to compete for the heart of the ocean?" Feng Sangqiong looked at Long Qing with an ugly face. Long Qing laughed. "Why? Can't I? Does the heart of the ocean belong to you?" Feng Sangqiong immediately fell silent. How could the heart of the ocean belong to him? Strictly speaking, the heart of the ocean should belong to the Blue Wave clan. However, the Blue Wave clan had been ignored now. It couldn't be helped. The Blue Wave clan wasn't strong enough. Even if the Blue Wave clan had experts on the saint ranking, their ranking wasn't high at all. They weren't qualified to compete with Feng Sangqiong and the others. Therefore, the people of the Blue Wave clan gnashed their teeth and looked at Feng Sangqiong and the others. They couldn't wait to slap them to death. The treasures in the world belong to the virtuous. I don't think Feng Sangqiong is the virtuous one. While Feng Sangqiong was silent and his killing intent surged, a faint voice came. Before the voice fell, a figure suddenly appeared beside Feng Sangqiong. It was a young man in white who was about 20 years old. He was handsome and looked similar to Xiaoyang. After seeing the person, Feng Sangqiong, Xiaoyang, and Long Qing couldn't help but frown slightly. They couldn't help it. The person who came was powerful and was on par with them. This person was the genius of the Spirit Clan, Ling Wenxing. He was ranked 15th on the Saint ranking, 11th, 12th, 15th, and 20th. 4 of the top 20 on the Saint ranking had come. And their goal was the heart of the ocean. One could imagine how precious the heart of the ocean was. Is it necessary? Damn it. Seeing more and more experts appear over the months, the people of the Blue Wave clan cursed in their hearts. They all knew that the heart of the ocean had basically nothing to do with their Blue Wave clan. Moreover, not only that, the Blue Wave clan was even in danger of being exterminated. These experts might not be so crazy as to destroy the Blue Wave clan. but with so many well-matched experts fighting for the heart of the ocean, there would definitely be a great battle. How terrifying would the power of their outburst be? Even if it was just the aftermath of their power, it was possible to raise the entire Blue Wave clan. Pass down my order. All the clansmen within a radius of 1,000,000,000 miles of Blue Wave Island are to retreat. The further away they are from the Blue Wave Island, the better. The chief of the Blue Wave clan ordered. Many experts of the Blue Wave clan were aggrieved. They had a strong desire to kill those who came to snatch the heart of the ocean. However, that was all there was to it. They were unable to resist at all. Thus, retreating was undoubtedly the best option at the moment. Memorize the faces of these bastards for me. I must kill them all in the future to avenge today's hatred. The chief of the Blue Wave clan said with great hatred, Blue Wave Island. Everyone, our spirit clan is determined to get the heart of the ocean. Why don't you give it to us? Don't worry, we will show you enough sincerity. Ling Wenxing glanced at the crowd and then said with a smile. Hearing his words, a flash of light flashed across the faces of the surrounding experts. Feng Sangqiong and Ling Wenxing both expressed the same meaning. But Feng Sangqiong was too overbearing and rude, directly threatening them. But Ling Wenxing said it very tactfully, and at the same time, he offered compensation. This made those weaker experts have a good impression of him immediately. Anyway, they had no hope of getting the heart of the ocean in front of Feng Sangqiong and other ruthless experts. Why not give the spirit clan some face? So, a strong expert on the saint list said, in that case, I will withdraw from this fight for the heart of the ocean. After the first, there was naturally a second. In a short period of time, those experts on the saint list who were not ranked high on the saint list and ordinary chaotic ancestor saints all withdrew from the fight. Now, only dozens of experts on the saint list were fighting for it. These people were not ranked high, but their strength was quite strong. Won't anyone think about it? If you give the heart of the ocean to us, our spirit clan will owe you a favor. Ling Wenxing glanced at the remaining people and increased the bargaining chip. Ling Wenxing, don't waste your time. We are all determined to get the heart of the ocean. Who can get it will depend on our own abilities. Long Qing laughed and said in a deep voice. Ling Wenxing smiled slightly, then his figure swayed and turned into a stream of light, pouncing towards the heart of the ocean. F***ck. So despicable. Long Qing cursed and stretched out his dragon claw, grabbing at Ling Wenxing. At the same time, Feng Sangqiong, Xiao Yang and others also attacked. Without any scruples, all of them attacked with their strongest attacks, either rushing towards the heart of the ocean or attacking other experts. In an instant, dozens of experts on the saint list attacked at the same time. Vast and mighty saint power, saint light soared into the sky, and a terrifying aura swept across the sky, spreading in all directions. The faces of the weaker experts in the surroundings changed abruptly. They all moved at the same time and quickly retreated into the distance. However, there were still some experts with slower reaction speed who were half a step slower. Before they could retreat, they were killed by the aftershock of the power that spread over. They retreated again and again. Countless experts watched the terrifying battle on Blue Billows Island in horror from afar, and all of them were extremely nervous. However, at this time, there was one person who was extremely excited. This person was Morong Yu, who had been captured by Xiao Yang and sealed in the space treasure. At this time, Morong Yu had already broken the seal that Xiao Yang had placed on him. At this time, he was looking outside through Xiao Yang's space treasure. The battle between dozens of experts on the saint list was extremely terrifying, and the surrounding space was constantly exploding. However, the experts were blocking each other, and no one could get close to the heart of the ocean. Fight! Fight! It's best if all of you die in battle, Morong Yu said to himself as he looked at the heart of the ocean, which was emitting a sky-blue light. These people's strength is too terrifying. As soon as I go out, I'm afraid that I'll be crushed to pieces. Murong Yu looked at the heart of the ocean with envy. However, he also knew that this was not a good time to take advantage of the situation. I wonder if Hichu Luoshu can sneak over? Murong Yu's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately summoned Hichu Luoshu. Hichu Luoshu turned into an invisible force, broke through Xiao Yang's space treasure, and appeared outside. Boom! As soon as the He-Tu and the Luoshu appeared, a terrifying force violently bombarded the He-Tu and the Luoshu. Inside Xiao Yang's space treasure, Murong Yu's body shook violently, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Chapter 1678. Although Hichu Luoshu had transformed into a particle that was almost undetectable by divine sense, it still existed. After all, it didn't disappear into thin air. Since it existed, it would bear the attack of power. The battle between Feng Tsangqiong, Xiao Yang, and the others was near the heart of the ocean. Streams of terrifying energy burst out continuously, engulfing every corner of the world. Every void was filled with all kinds of power. It was because of this that Hichu Luoshu had to bear the impact of terrifying power as soon as it appeared. The smaller the area affected, the weaker the attack. However, these were all terrifying existences at the top of the holy rankings after all. Even the weakest attack was extremely terrifying. Immediately, Hichu Luoshu dissipated most of the power. However, it couldn't dissipate all the power. Therefore, the overflow of damage immediately blasted onto Murong Yu. Even though Murong Yu had long since made preparations, the overflowing damage still managed to injure him. He couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Boom, boom, boom. In the blink of an eye, He-Tu and Luoshu withstood hundreds of attacks. Every attack had an overflow of damage directly acting on Murong Yu. Immediately, Murong Yu's mind trembled violently from the impact, and Murong Yu's blood and qi churned in his body as he spat out another mouthful of blood. It's not easy to fish in troubled waters. Murong Yu's face revealed a bitter smile. This level of damage didn't threaten his life. His injuries would be healed with a wash of life force. However, this kind of injury didn't feel good. Moreover, Hichu Luoshu couldn't move towards the heart of the ocean under the impact. Instead, it was blown away by the impact. Not to mention getting close to the heart of the ocean, it was blown further and further away. With a thought, Hichu Luoshu turned into a stream of light and rushed into Xiao Yang's space treasure. Then, Murong Yu took a step forward and entered Hichu Luoshu. However, when he entered Hichu Luoshu, he used his power to condense a clone and continued to stay in Xiao Yang's spatial treasure. Xiao Yang was engaged in a great battle with Feng Tsangqiong and his figure was constantly shifting. In his space treasure, Murong Yu found it rather inconvenient to control Hichu Luoshu. Therefore, after Murong Yu entered Hichu Luoshu, he directly left Xiao Yang's spatial treasure. The reason why he left a clone in Xiao Yang's spatial treasure was because Murong Yu didn't want Xiao Yang to discover that he had left his spatial treasure for the time being. This would give Murong Yu enough time to fish in troubled waters and snatch food from the tiger's mouth. Rumble, at every moment, Hichu Luoshu was bearing the brunt of a terrifying force. The terrifying attack impacted Murong Yu's mind, and even his soul and body trembled violently. Fortunately, Murong Yu's soul was incomparably strong and his mind was relatively strong as well. But even so, he didn't feel good. However, these forces weren't able to threaten Murong Yu's life for the time being. After all, Feng Tsangqiong and the others weren't fighting unscrupulously. They didn't want to destroy Blue Billows Island and the heart of the ocean. Therefore, they were all controlling their power. In fact, the attack that Murong Yu was bearing wasn't all of their power. Otherwise, Murong Yu would have been shaken to death long ago. Forward! Murong Yu gritted his teeth and persevered, controlling Hichu Luoshu to constantly shift towards the heart of the ocean. However, what made him helpless was that the aftermath of Feng Sangqiong and the other's power was like a stormy sea, constantly sweeping over. The impact caused Hichu Luoshu to sway left and right, drifting with the waves. Sometimes, when Murongyu finally got close to the heart of the ocean, a wave of power swept over and pushed Hichu Luoshu far away. Murongyu almost couldn't stop himself from cursing out loud. However, Murongyu didn't give up. He constantly controlled Hichu Luoshu to slowly shift over. On the other side, the battle between Feng Sangqiong and the others was getting more and more intense. It couldn't be helped. After the battle, they couldn't get close to the heart of the ocean at all. Once they had this intention, the other experts on the saint list would join forces to attack and send this person flying. Therefore, even Feng Sangqiong, Long Qing and the others were helpless. Long Qing, Ling Wenxing, Xiao Yang. Why don't we join forces to drive the others out first? After fighting for half a day, Feng Sangqiong was a little impatient with no gains. Long Qing and the other two didn't say anything when they heard this. They just looked at each other. If this continues, none of us will be able to get the heart of the ocean. We can only drive the others out, and then the four of us will compete to determine the ownership of the heart of the ocean. What do you think? Seeing Ling Wenxing and the other two hesitate, Feng Sangqiong continued to explain. This idea is not bad. Otherwise, we won't be able to determine the winner even if we fight for another month. Moreover, if more experts come, our chances of getting the heart of the ocean will be even smaller. I, Long Qing, agree. What do you two think? Long Qing laughed and said in a deep voice. Xiao Yang nodded with a gloomy face. Although he didn't say anything, he had already agreed. As for Ling Wenxing? He just laughed and his figure flashed and approached Feng Sangqiong. The answer was self-evident. Everyone, the four of us have decided to join forces. If you don't want to increase the casualties, I suggest you leave immediately. Otherwise, don't blame us. Ling Wenxing glanced at the other dozens of experts on the saint ranking and said in a deep voice. The dozens of experts on the saint ranking stood together without prior agreement. Each of them looked at Long Qing and the others with a furious expression and murderous aura. However, no one took the opportunity to leave. Kill! Among them, one of the experts on the saint ranking even roared and attacked first. Then, the other dozens of experts on the saint ranking also attacked and exploded with their strongest attacks towards Feng Sangqiong and the other three. You guys really don't know what's good for you. Feng Sangqiong chuckled and was the first to attack. Then, Xiao Yang and the other two also attacked at the same time. What kind of change would it be if four experts on the saint ranking joined forces to attack? How terrifying would it be? Rumble! After an earth-shattering explosion, the four people's attacks had already landed in the crowd. Immediately, a few unlucky people in the crowd were directly blasted into a cloud of blood mist. They couldn't be more dead. Even more people were blasted away while spurting blood from their mouth. I'll let you guys see how terrifying the strength of the top 20 experts on the saint ranking is. Long Qing laughed. With a step, he shattered a large piece of the void and charged forward. At the same time, he threw out a punch ruthlessly. The huge fist shattered the sky and earth, shattering hundreds of millions of space-time. In an instant, it appeared in front of many experts on the saint ranking. The 40 to 50 experts on the saint ranking were shocked and attacked at the same time. They exploded with their strongest attacks towards Long Qing's fist. Boom! Long Qing's fist was directly blasted apart. However, the attacks of the 40 to 50 experts on the saint ranking also collapsed. Bang! 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 A terrifying power exploded and the dozens of experts on the saint ranking were directly sent flying while spewing blood in the void. Although the remaining 30 or so experts on the saint rankings weren't sent flying, their vital energy and blood were in turmoil. Take another punch of mine. Long Qing's figure only swayed slightly. He took another step forward and threw out a punch. The expressions of the dozens of experts on the Saint ranking changed drastically. What shocked them even more was that Xiao Yang and the others also attacked. Long Qing alone had defeated the joint attack of 40 to 50 experts on the Saint ranking. Now that Xiao Yang and the others joined in, could they still resist? At the same time, they all knew that they couldn't resist. Therefore, one of the experts on the Saint ranking actually retreated in a flash. The heart of the ocean did have the possibility of becoming a supreme. However, if they lost their lives, what was the use of the heart of the ocean? The longer they lived, the more they feared death. After seeing that they couldn't resist, the experts on the Saint ranking finally retreated. However, they still left behind the bodies of a few experts on the Saint ranking. "Get away from here or we'll kill you!" Feng Sangqiong glanced at the people who had already left Blue Billow Island and shouted coldly. Everyone was furious, but they still left far away. "Now there are only 4 of us left. Can you give the heart of the ocean to me?" Ling Wenxing spoke again with a smile. "No way." Feng Sangqiong rejected immediately. What a joke. Although the Spirit Clan was powerful, what could they use to exchange for the heart of the ocean? Sure. If the Spirit Clan can give me a supreme weapon, I'll withdraw from the fight for the heart of the ocean. Long Qing looked at Ling Wenxing with a smile. Ling Wenxing was stunned and glared at Long Qing with some anger. A supreme weapon was equivalent to a supreme. Whether the heart of the ocean could make someone a supreme was still a question. At least now, it seemed that the value of a supreme weapon was far above the heart of the ocean. "Long Qing, why don't you give me a supreme weapon? Then I'll withdraw from this fight?" Ling Wenxing smiled. "Cut the crap. If you want a supreme weapon, it's better to rely on your own strength." Xiao Yang frowned and said with some displeasure. "That's what I was thinking." Feng Sangqiong sneered and stretched out his hand. A force hit the heart of the ocean. At the same time, Long Qing and the others also hit the heart of the ocean. They didn't want to snatch the heart of the ocean. They just wanted to seal it temporarily. They knew that their fight wouldn't end in a short period of time. In order to prevent others from stealing the heart of the ocean while they were fighting, they could only seal it first. Seal it. The more seals there are, the more interesting your expressions will be later. Murong Yu in the Hichu, Luoshu chuckled coldly. Because at this moment, he was already near the heart of the ocean. It was already within his reach. However, he didn't make a move now. Murong Yu wasn't sure if he could take the heart of the ocean away immediately. If he couldn't take it away immediately, Feng Sangqiong and the others would react. At that time, Murong Yu wouldn't be able to escape. Chapter 1679. After setting up hundreds of seals and restrictions around the heart of the ocean, Feng Sangqiong and the other 3 took action. Feng Sangqiong faced Ling Wenxing, while Long Qing faced Xiao Yang. Feng Sangqiong and Long Qing both had the same idea. They both planned to deal with the relatively weaker Ling Wenxing and Xiao Yang first, then the 2 of them would have a showdown. Feng Sangqiong was ranked 11th on the Saint list, while Ling Wenxing was ranked 15th. Long Qing was ranked 1st on the Saint list, while Xiao Yang's ranking was relatively lower, only ranked 20th. However, the gap between the 11th and 20th experts on the Saint list was not like the gap between the 10th and 11th experts on the Saint list. The gap between the top 10 experts on the Saint list and the 11th to 20th experts on the Saint list was huge. Just like Yu Yangjia and Feng Sangqiong, Yu Yangjia could easily suppress the 11th Feng Sangqiong. However, Feng Sangqiong could not easily suppress the 12th and 20th experts on the Saint list. Because although there was a gap between the 11th and 20th experts on the Saint list, the gap was not obvious. Otherwise, Feng Sangqiong would have suppressed Xiao Yang long ago. Rumble, the 4 of them fought in pairs. However, the strength of the 4 people was actually on par. It was difficult to determine the winner in a short time. In the beginning, the 4 of them still had a lot of reservations. However, as time passed, the battle between them became more and more intense. In fact, in the end, the two of them were truly enraged. Half a day later, the four people had already left Blue Billow Island and fought in the sky above Blue Billow Island. However, even so, the four people's divine senses still enveloped the entire Blue Billow Island. This made those who wanted to fish in troubled waters dispel the idea in their hearts, and did not dare to approach Blue Billow Island. However, at this time, there was one person who was very happy. That person was naturally Morong Yu. Mengqing, can you try to subdue this heart of the ocean? In the Hichu Luoshu, Morong Yu called Yu Mengqing over, trying to let her subdue the heart of the ocean. Yu Mengqing tried, but soon shook her head. She couldn't subdue the heart of the ocean at all. She didn't even have any communication with the heart of the ocean. Since she couldn't communicate, she naturally couldn't subdue it. In fact, it wasn't so easy to subdue such a heavenly treasure. However, Morong Yu only wanted Yu Mengqing to try. Even if Yu Mengqing could subdue the heart of the ocean, he would not let her merge with it. After all, it was not that easy to fuse with the heart of the ocean. It would take a very long time. Back then, the heart of the ice was heart of the ice snow ice heart. Of the heart of the ocean of the heavens of the heavenly of the heart of the heavens. After all, the strengths groups's was too strong. Was two of the heavens. Of course. Outs you summoned out the of the divine. It was the size of it was the size the size was the size a painting of it. It of the of heart below. Bang. In the blink of an eye, Hichu Luoshu had already wrapped around the heart of the ocean. At the same time, a powerful suction force rushed out from the Hichu Luoshu and wrapped around the heart of the ocean. It was about to suck the heart of the ocean into the Hichu Luoshu. However, at this moment, Feng Sangqiong and the others who were fighting on Blue Billows Island had already reacted. In fact, they had already reacted the moment Hichu Luoshu appeared. Although they were fighting in the distance, they didn't give up on subduing the heart of the ocean. They all spread out their divine senses and began to try to subdue the heart of the ocean. The four of them were the same. However, they also knew that the heart of the ocean wasn't so easy to subdue. That was why they were fighting to completely seize the heart of the ocean. After all, even if they couldn't subdue the heart of the ocean, they still had their clansmen. It was possible for their clansmen to merge with the heart of the ocean. You're courting death. Feng Sangqiong and the others were stunned when they saw Hichu Luoshu. But they quickly reacted. Almost at the same time, the four of them roared. Their divine senses erupted and blasted directly at Hichu Luoshu. Hichu Luoshu had already enveloped the entire heart of the ocean. Besides, Morong Yu didn't intend to give up the heart of the ocean to avoid the four's attack. Therefore, the four's divine senses blasted directly at Hichu Luoshu. Bang! 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 A terrifying power erupted and blasted Hichu Luoshu into bursts of dazzling earthy yellow holy light. However, Hichu Luoshu was the most powerful treasure in the world. Although the attacks of Feng Sangqiong and the others were terrifying, they couldn't do anything to Hichu Luoshu at all. However, although Hichu Luoshu was fine, it didn't mean that its owner, Morong Yu, was fine. The terrifying overflow damage directly affected Morong Yu's body. These overflow damage couldn't be resisted at all unless Morong Yu came into contact with Hichu Luoshu's recognition as its owner. Therefore, Morong Yu was directly met with a tragedy. His powerful mind was almost shattered at the first moment. Fortunately, Morong Yu's reaction speed was fast. He immediately channeled an enormous amount of soul power into his mind. At the same time, the life power with an even more terrifying recovery ability quickly enveloped his entire mind. The moment his mind was shattered, the power of life washed over it and quickly repaired it. At the same time, the soul power quickly repaired it. This prevented Morong Yu's mind from being shattered. On the contrary, Morong Yu's mind was completely repaired in just a few moments. It wasn't damaged at all. But even so, Morong Yu almost fainted from the pain. After all, this was equivalent to Morong Yu's mind being torn apart once. Soul Storm. After repairing his mind, Morong Yu roared and used the most powerful indiscriminate soul attack, directly strangling the divine senses left behind by Feng Sangqiong and the others. Puchi, the divine senses of Feng Sangqiong and the others weren't strong. Under Morong Yu's enormous soul attack, they were torn apart in an instant. And Morong Yu's soul attack didn't stop at all as it strangled towards Feng Sangqiong and the others who had already rushed over. At the same time, Morong Yu accelerated the collection of Ocean's Heart. However, what made Morong Yu's balls ache was that Ocean's Heart stood in place like an ancient sacred mountain, motionless. Damn you! Morong Yu couldn't help but curse in his heart. He almost couldn't help but want to punch the Ocean's Heart. How terrifying was the strength of Feng Sangqiong and the others! Morong Yu couldn't even block one move from Xiaoyang, who was ranked the lowest among the four, let alone four people working together? Not to mention one move, he couldn't even block half a move. Morong Yu was already thinking that if he couldn't collect the Ocean's Heart before Feng Sangqiong and the others arrived, he could only give up. Heavenly King Grand Sage Art. At the same time as the Soul Storm broke out, Morong Yu also began his mind attack. It was just that Feng Sangqiong and the others were too strong. Even if Morong Yu's soul had reached 6 stars, it couldn't hurt their souls at all. The four of them just threw out an ordinary punch and directly shattered Morong Yu's dual soul and mind attack. And their speed was getting faster and faster as they rushed towards Morong Yu. There was no way to stop them at all. Morong Yu frowned slightly and his face was incomparably gloomy. Now his only way was to leave immediately. Otherwise, if he was one step slower, he wouldn't be able to leave even if he wanted to. However, seeing that the heart of the ocean was within his reach, he was unwilling to leave now. Activate the all-directional extermination array. Morong Yu only hesitated for less than 1/100th of a second before he decided. Rumble. The space in front of Morong Yu started to rapidly vibrate. Although there wasn't any loud sound, the space in front of Morong Yu started to vibrate. Although there wasn't a loud sound, in the ears of Feng Sangqiong and the others, it was as if they heard a loud noise like a stormy sea. Almost at the same time, Feng Sangqiong and the others only saw the scenery in front of them change, and then they found that they had entered a space full of white mist. Array? The four of them were not only powerful but also extremely knowledgeable. They knew that they had been enveloped in an array at the first moment. Insignificant skill. Feng Sangqiong shouted coldly and threw out a punch. Although he didn't use all his strength in this punch, it also contained 50% of Feng Sangqiong's attack. How terrifying was 50% of the attack of a ruthless expert ranked 11th on the Saint list? Even if it was an expert ranked in the top 20 of the Saint list, he would probably be killed by Feng Sangqiong's punch. However, what shocked Feng Sangqiong was that although his punch had blown up the surrounding space, the endless mist also disappeared. However, it only lasted for a moment. Soon, the mist quickly spread over from afar and finally submerged the space around Feng Sangqiong. Not only Feng Sangqiong's side, but also Long Qing, Ling Wenxing, Xiu Xiu and the others. For a moment, the four ruthless experts were stunned. What kind of array was this? It was actually so terrifying? They weren't the only ones. Even Morong Yu was stunned. They didn't expect that the power of this array, which was seized from the Phoenix clan and the Evil Demon clan, was so terrifying that it even trapped Feng Sangqiong and the others. This is 10-direction extermination array? At this moment, Feng Sangqiong's horrified scream suddenly came out from the array. This array was quite familiar. It was one of the top arrays owned by the Phoenix clan. But wasn't this array only owned by the Phoenix clan? How could it appear here? And it even trapped him? Could it be that Feng Qiankuan lost? Even the array was taken away by Morong Yu? Suddenly, this terrifying thought appeared in Feng Sangqiong's heart. At the same time, he also took a step forward and his figure began to shuttle through the array. In the next moment, he appeared outside the array. As the old ancestor of the Phoenix clan, he was naturally familiar with this array. This array couldn't trap him at all. However, when he saw Feng Sangqiong who rushed out of the array, Morong Yu was shocked. At this time, Feng Sangqiong also made a move. He stretched out his big hand and grabbed towards the heart of the ocean. A terrifying power erupted and instantly shrouded this space. It directly froze the space near the heart of the ocean. Chapter 1680. Seeing this, Morong Yu was taken aback. He had forgotten that this all-directional extermination array was the Phoenix clan's handiwork. Using the Phoenix clan's array to trap the Phoenix clan's ancestor? Wasn't this courting death? Change the array. After the shock, Morong Yu roared in his heart. At the same time, the Phoenix clan and Demon clan's saint-ranking experts in Hichu Luoshu changed the array. With a swoosh, the area near the ocean's heart was shrouded by the array's projection. Moreover, the array that had changed also temporarily blocked Feng Sangqiong's advance. At the same time, an incomparably terrifying power blasted down, carrying a terrifying aura that could destroy the heaven and earth, wanting to kill Feng Sangqiong. Moreover, the array's attack was concentrated on Feng Sangqiong. As for Long Qing and Xiaoyang, Morong Yu didn't attack because the three of them were still trapped in the array's projection and hadn't broken the array to leave for the time being. Only this Feng Sangqiong knew the way in and out of the array, so they could only use attacks to stop his advance. During this process, Morong Yu exhausted all his strength in an attempt to take the ocean's heart into Hichu Luoshu. However, what made him speechless was that the ocean's heart seemed to be fixed here by someone and didn't move at all. Bang! 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 Although Feng Sangqiong's strength was powerful, the array's attack was a combination of 20 saint-ranking experts. Moreover, after being strengthened by the array, these attacks already posed a threat to him. Therefore, his speed was slowed down. However, at this moment, Xiaoyang and the other two on the other side had already broken out of the array. Although the all-directional extermination array was powerful, it also had its limits. The strength of Long Qing, Ling Wenxing and Xiaoyang was really too powerful. Especially after the three of them joined forces, the terrifying power shattered the array's projection. Swoosh, after breaking the array, Xiaoyang and the other two smashed through the void and rushed towards Morong Yu. During this process, they attacked Morong Yu while grabbing the ocean's heart. Boom! At the same time, Feng Sangqiong also avoided the attack of the array and reappeared on Bai Tao Island. A terrifying power erupted and instantly enveloped Morong Yu. Morong Yu's expression changed drastically. Even if he had a supreme weapon and the Hichu Luoshu, he would not be able to block the attacks of four vicious experts. They would be killed in an instant. Infinite banishment! Morong Yu roared in his heart and was about to banish himself. The power of banishment instantly enveloped Morong Yu and the ocean's heart. It even enveloped Feng Sangqiong, who had already rushed to Morong Yu's side. Swish, under the shocked gazes of Long Qing and the others, Morong Yu, ocean's heart and even Feng Sangqiong disappeared into thin air. After the two of them disappeared, the attacks of the three of them finally landed. Although this space had been blasted into smithereens. But Morong Yu, Feng Sangqiong and ocean's heart had already disappeared. The three of them were startled at first, then they became furious. Then, an incomparably huge power dissipated from their bodies. With their bodies as the center, it quickly dissipated in all directions. Under the impact of the three's terrifying power, the surrounding space began to collapse and even be annihilated. And the Bai Tao Island under their feet also suffered a calamity and began to be destroyed. However, there was still no trace of Morong Yu, Feng Sangqiong and Ocean's Heart. Somewhere in the periphery of the ancient battlefield. Swish. A layer of ripples suddenly appeared in the void here without warning. Then, a burst of dazzling holy light flashed. With a bang, the void suddenly exploded. 3 rays of light immediately flew out from the void. Phew! When his feet touched the ground again, Murong Yu could not help but heave a sigh of relief. With the void frozen, Murong Yu could not even enter the Hichu Luoshu. But fortunately, infinite banishment was more powerful. At the last moment, he was still banished to the ancient battlefield. Ocean's Heart. When he saw Ocean's Heart floating in the void in front of him, Murong Yu's face bloomed with a smile. When infinite banishment was used, Murong Yu also deliberately enveloped Ocean's Heart. Originally, he just wanted to give it a try. However, he did not expect that Ocean's Heart would actually be banished to the ancient battlefield. Feng Sangqiong. When he saw Ocean's Heart, Murong Yu wanted to reach out his hand to grab it. However, at this moment, a figure appeared in his line of sight. When he saw this person, Murong Yu was immediately stunned and could not help but exclaim, "Murong Yu!" After Murong Yu exclaimed, Feng Sangqiong's voice rang in Murong Yu's ears. Then, Murong Yu felt that he was grabbed by a big hand. In front of Feng Sangqiong, Murong Yu did not even have the chance to escape. Murong Yu, Ocean's Heart is really easy to obtain. After grabbing Murong Yu, Feng Sangqiong also saw Ocean's Heart. A series of surprises finally made him burst into laughter. Murong Yu was quite depressed. He did not expect that he would also banish Feng Sangqiong to the ancient battlefield. Banishing them was one thing, but they had to be banished to the same place. Wasn't this too bitter? What made Murong Yu even more speechless was that, if it was in normal times, he would not be able to banish Feng Sangqiong even if he wanted to. But now, he really wanted to cry but had no tears. This time, I only wanted to fight for Ocean's Heart, but I got the celestial chaos. Haha, this is really a big surprise. Looking at Murong Yu in his hand, Feng Sangqiong burst into laughter. Although there was a chance to break through to the Supreme Realm by fusing with Ocean's Heart. But if he seized the celestial chaos, then he would become the Chaos Controller. This was an existence that even rulers could only look up to. You can kill me, but without me, you will absolutely not be able to leave here. After the initial panic, Murong Yu had already calmed down and said coldly. Feng Sangqiong's eyes narrowed slightly, and a cold, killing intent flashed across his brows. As long as you become the Chaos Controller, where can't you go in the world? Murong Yu was silent. If Feng Sangqiong really thought so, then he could not refute. This is the ancient battlefield, a space independent of the holy world. Without me, you will not be able to return to the holy world at all. Of course, if you become the Chaos Controller, you can go anywhere. But can you become the Chaos Controller? Murong Yu sneered, as if talking to himself, but also as if talking to Feng Sangqiong. Ancient battlefield? Hearing this, Feng Sangqiong was shocked. He had heard of this ancient battlefield, and he also knew that this ancient battlefield was extremely dangerous. Although it looked calm now, there were some extremely terrifying experts hidden in the depths of the ancient battlefield. As the old ancestor of the Phoenix clan and the 11th existence on the holy ranking, he knew more than Murong Yu. The ancient battlefield, even Supremes were not willing to enter this place, because there were dangers that could threaten Supremes. How did you enter the ancient battlefield? Feng Sangqiong's face darkened, and he looked at Murong Yu with murderous intent. Murong Yu smiled and looked at Feng Sangqiong with disdain. Why should I tell you? Of course, you cannot believe that this is the ancient battlefield. You can also try to find the exit. You can also kill me, seize my body, and deprive me of my memories. Murong Yu's words were unbridled, as if he had nothing to fear. This was because he cultivated Phoenix's nirvana. Now that he was restrained by Feng Sangqiong, he couldn't escape at all. But if Feng Sangqiong killed him, although Morong Yu would waste a life, he could take the opportunity to escape from Feng Sangqiong's evil claws. Just as Feng Sangqiong was about to speak, he snorted coldly and then took a step forward, his figure disappearing from the spot. Boom! Just as he disappeared from the spot, the void where he was originally at was shattered. A terrifying pressure burst out, suppressing the surrounding space and causing it to shatter. Morong Yu jumped in fright. When he looked over, he saw a black silhouette appear behind them. By the time Morong Yu looked over, the black silhouette had already reached out with its large hand, grabbing at him from the air. Courting death! Feng Sangqiong shouted angrily and turned around abruptly, but he had already punched out. Boom! In a split second, the two people's attacks collided in midair. After the earth-shattering noise, that black shadow was directly sent flying. And Feng Sangqiong also didn't have a good time. He retreated for a few miles before stopping. However, he was only sent flying, nothing much. However, Morong Yu, who was caught in his hand, was miserable. The shock waves from the battle between the two had almost shattered him to pieces. Swish! Before Morong Yu could see clearly who made the move, that black shadow turned into a black streamer, smashed the void and grabbed at the heart of the ocean. Feng Sangqiong immediately shouted angrily and took a step forward. He also smashed the void and rushed towards the heart of the ocean. During this process, he condensed all his power on his right fist, then locked onto that black shadow and punched fiercely. Ga! That black shadow made a sharp but unpleasant sound and grabbed at Feng Sangqiong with a claw. Morong Yu, who was caught by Feng Sangqiong, was shocked. The strength of this black shadow should be about the same as Feng Sangqiong. How could he withstand the aftermath of the battle between the two of them? What's more, his strength was now sealed by Feng Sangqiong. Feng Sangqiong, quickly let me go. In a hurry, Morong Yu couldn't help but shout. Feng Sangqiong was stunned, then he obediently let go of Morong Yu and directly threw him out. This made Morong Yu surprised. When did Feng Sangqiong become so obedient? However, what made Morong Yu miserable was that after Feng Sangqiong threw him out, that black shadow that rushed towards the void. That black shadow that was originally rushing towards Feng Sangqiong shifted continuously in the air. In the end, it actually avoided Feng Sangqiong and pounced towards Morong Yu. Chapter 1681. Seeing that figure actually pouncing towards him, Morong Yu was almost scared to death. This guy's strength was strong and was almost on par with Feng Sangqiong. Even if Morong Yu was at his peak strength, he couldn't resist his attack, not to mention that his strength was sealed by Feng Sangqiong now. There was no way to escape. Feng Sangqiong, damn you! Morong Yu panicked and couldn't help but curse at Feng Sangqiong. If it wasn't for Feng Sangqiong sealing his cultivation, how could he only wait for death? With Morong Yu's character, even if he knew that he wasn't the opponent's opponent, he would still fight to the death. He was definitely not a person who would sit and wait for death. But obviously, he could only wait for death now. Phoenix dance in the sky. Seeing that the black shadow actually abandoned him and attacked Morong Yu, Feng Sangqiong immediately reacted. He knew that he had been fooled. The opponent's target had always been Morong Yu. The heart of the ocean was just a diversion. After reacting, Feng Sangqiong roared and immediately displayed the Phoenix clan's unique skill. Terrifying holy light burst out from Feng Sangqiong's body and soared into the sky. The void around Feng Sangqiong was quickly shattered under the impact of his power. At the same time, a phoenix about the size of a small mountain that emitted 5-colored holy light also appeared in the void above his head. A vast, ancient, and incomparably powerful aura emanated from the 5-colored phoenix and swept out in all directions. The terrifying pressure flooded the distance like a torrent, shattering the void and making the soul tremble. What a terrifying pressure! Morong Yu felt that his body was about to shatter under the pressure of this 5-colored phoenix. Moreover, this five-colored phoenix actually targeted the soul. It suppressed Murong Yu's soul and made it tremble. Screech. Suddenly, this five-colored phoenix let out a long cry to the sky. Then, one of its claws suddenly stretched out and shattered hundreds of millions of space-time and disappeared into the endless void. When the sharp claws appeared again, it was already above the black shadow's head. Carrying a terrifying aura that could destroy the heavens and the earth, it ruthlessly smashed down on the black figure's head. At this time, the black shadow had already rushed in front of Murong Yu. He stretched out his big hand and was about to grab Murong Yu. But right at this moment, his heart was suddenly enveloped by an extremely strong aura of death. The black shadow was shocked. He knew that if he continued to grab Murong Yu would not be able to escape and would be caught by him. However, his head and even his soul would definitely be crushed by this five-colored phoenix. Although the chaos celestial body was precious, his life was still the most precious. Therefore, the black shadow decisively gave up on Murong Yu. He turned his claw into a fist and punched towards the sharp claws of the five-colored phoenix. Bang! After an earth-shattering boom, the sharp claws of the five-colored phoenix were shattered. The black shadow did not have it easy either. His fist was directly shattered, and his entire body was suppressed deep into the ground by the tremendous force. With a boom, the aftermath of the terrifying force directly bombarded Murong Yu's body. Murong Yu's clothes had been reduced to fine powder by the shockwave. At the same time, Murong Yu's incomparably powerful body was also cracked open by the impact. Blood gushed out and it was extremely terrifying. Ah! Murong Yu let out a shrill scream. His entire body was blasted out and rushed into the distant void. You two bastards! There will come a day when I'll personally kill you. Murong Yu's heart was filled with rage as he roared. Although he appeared to be very angry, his heart was very calm. He had already begun to attack Feng Sangqiong's seal. Only by regaining his freedom could Murong Yu escape, because without power, he couldn't even use the Hichu Luoshu. Kill. Seeing Murong Yu being blasted out, Feng Sangqiong's face turned cold. But in the end, he still suppressed the idea of capturing Murong Yu. He controlled the five-colored phoenix to quickly suppress the black shadow. He was confident in his seal. He knew that Murong Yu couldn't break his seal and couldn't escape. And if he wanted to seize Murong Yu's body, he must kill the black shadow. Otherwise, the black shadow would compete with him for Murong Yu. You have successfully angered me. So, you will die without a doubt. The black shadow smashed the ground with a punch and turned into a black light that soared into the sky. At the same time, his incomparably angry and incomparably unpleasant voice also spread far away. Rumble, the two ruthless experts immediately started fighting. Each of them couldn't wait to kill the other. Moreover, in the battle, they gradually distanced themselves from Murong Yu with tacit understanding. They didn't want to destroy Murong Yu's body. Then, what was the point of their battle? Their purpose was to get Murong Yu's body. Fight, it's best to perish together. In the distance, Murong Yu gritted his teeth as he watched the two ruthless experts fight. And he was constantly attacking the seal. However, what made him depressed was that Feng Sangqiong's strength was really too strong. The seal looked ordinary, but Murong Yu couldn't shake it at all. Unable to break the seal, Murong Yu didn't even have the ability to enter the Hichu Luoshu. And once Feng Sangqiong and the Black Shadow decided the winner, Murong Yu would definitely not be able to survive. Hee big bad guy, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Just when Murong Yu was attacking the seal gloomily, a childish laughter suddenly sounded in his ears. At the same time, little Loli, who was carrying a giant axe, also appeared in Murong Yu's line of sight. Little Loli's strength was very strong, especially when she could enter and exit the Hichu Luoshu at will. This made Murong Yu unable to do anything to her. You can still laugh? Quickly bring me into the Hichu Luoshu. Morong Yu glared at little Loli and said speechlessly. However, little Loli rolled her eyes and said helplessly, I can only enter and exit the Hichu Luoshu alone. I can't bring someone with me. Morong Yu suddenly became silent. He was already speechless. Then do you have a way to break my seal? Morong Yu rolled his eyes and said. However, he regretted it as soon as he said it. Little Loli's strength wasn't as good as his. How could she break Feng Sangqiong's seal? Boom! Little Loli didn't have time to speak when an earth-shattering sound suddenly came from afar. Morong Yu and the little Loli jumped in fright and turned their heads to look. However, at this moment, a terrifying shock wave swept over. The little Loli let out a cry of surprise as she was sent flying by the shock wave of the attack. Even more, Morong Yu saw little Loli spit out a big mouthful of blood when she was sent flying. Little Loli was already like this, let alone Morong Yu whose strength was completely sealed. The terrifying force directly acted on Morong Yu's body. Suddenly, his powerful body collapsed at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, this force penetrated into Morong Yu's body and tore through his meridians. Morong Yu's eyes turned black and he almost couldn't help but faint. However, Morong Yu gritted his teeth and held on. At the same time, he guided the force that rushed into his body to attack the seal set by Feng Sangqiong. Just at this moment, two screams came from afar. Morong Yu, who was gritting his teeth and holding on, glanced over from the corner of his eyes. Two figures flew out from the impact of the collision. However, one figure quickly stood on the spot, while the other continued to fly backward. Seeing this, Morong Yu was shocked, because the person who stood on the spot was actually that black shadow. The one who flew out was actually Feng Sangqiong. Feng Sangqiong's injuries weren't very terrible, but his soul aura was very chaotic. It was sometimes strong and sometimes weak. It seemed that he had suffered a serious injury? That black shadow new soul attack? Seriously injuring Feng Sangqiong's soul? If not, how could Feng Sangqiong escape so easily? At this time, Feng Sangqiong had already stabilized his body. Just when Morong Yu thought that he would come back again, he saw Feng Sangqiong turn around and quickly escape into the distance. His figure didn't stop at all. This made Morong Yu quite speechless. But Morong Yu could also guess how serious the injury to Feng Sangqiong's soul was. Otherwise, he would never escape. Dong, dong, dong. After Feng Sangqiong escaped, that black shadow turned around and strode towards Morong Yu. Morong Yu's heart sank. He knew that this time it was really a disaster. And at this time, little Loli was still far away and couldn't rush back in time. Even if little Loli was by Morong Yu's side, with her strength, she wasn't this black shadow's opponent. Swish! Soon, the black shadow came to Morong Yu's side and stretched out a big hand to grab Morong Yu. But at this moment, the black shadow saw a strange smile on Morong Yu's face. The black shadow was startled and felt that something was wrong. Morong Yu's smile was really too strange. Divine Soul Slash! Just as the black silhouette sensed that something was amiss, Morong Yu suddenly roared. The black shadow was shocked and his figure was about to retreat. But it was already too late. Morong Yu's soul attack had already slashed on his soul. With a boom, the black shadow's entire soul was almost shattered by Morong Yu's slash. The severe pain almost made the black shadow faint. At the same time, out of instinct, the black shadow continued to retreat quickly. Bang! Out of resentment towards Morong Yu, the black shadow punched at Morong Yu's body while retreating. A terrifying power surged out and actually directly blew up Morong Yu's body. Kill! His body was blown up, but Morong Yu's soul wasn't annihilated. Therefore, he didn't die. Moreover, at the moment when his body was blown up, a divine soul slash was once again slashed out. Chapter 1682. Poof! Under Morong Yu's shocked gaze, this black shadow's soul crystal was directly split into two by Morong Yu's Divine Soul / Did this guy really fight with Feng Tsangqiong for half a day? A ruthless person who could even beat back Feng Tsangqiong, who was ranked 11th on the Saint ranking? With a plop, the black silhouette fell straight to the ground. Under Murong Yu's astonished gaze, the black silhouette died just like that. Murong Yu was deeply shocked. For a moment, he actually didn't react. Or rather, he had been subdued. Originally, he didn't have any hope for his soul attack. He just wanted to stop the Black Shadow's attack and gain a chance to escape. But he didn't expect that he could directly kill the Black Shadow. What's the situation? Little Loli flew back and kicked the Black Shadow with her feet, but found that the Black Shadow didn't move at all and even had no breath of life. Therefore, little Loli looked at Murong Yu, who had recovered his physical body, with a puzzled and shocked gaze. Murong Yu himself didn't know what was going on and could only shake his head helplessly. Boom! At this moment, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly erupted from the depths of the immemorial battlefield. Like a sudden clap of thunder, it quickly spread toward this side. Murong Yu's heart was suddenly enveloped by an extremely strong aura of death. In shock, he raised his head and looked at the depths of the immemorial battlefield. Suddenly, Murong Yu saw a big hand that covered half of the sky, shattering countless space and time, quickly grabbing towards him. Immediately, Murong Yu felt that the big hand might be targeting him. Therefore, Murong Yu didn't hesitate and stretched out his big hand to grab little Loli. At the same time, he rushed into the Hichu Luoshu. Just when he wanted to teleport away, Murong Yu's heart moved. He stretched out his big hand and caught the Black Shadow and the nearby heart of the ocean into the Hichu Luoshu. Infinite banishment. At this time, Murong Yu finally exiled himself. The moment he was exiled, Murong Yu's heart relaxed. But at this moment, all the hairs on his body stood on end. His heart was enveloped by an extremely strong aura of death. The speed of banishment was extremely fast. In just the blink of an eye, they could be banished from the ancient battlefield back to the Saint's world. However, at this moment, Murong Yu had an illusion that the speed of his exile had slowed down infinitely. A huge hand shattered the space of the ancient battlefield and reached into the void, grabbing the He-Tu and the Luo Shu that were being exiled. It was because of this hand that Murong Yu's hair stood on end. Murong Yu could clearly see the large hand that was rapidly approaching him. Immediately, he was scared half to death. The speed of the banishment was already extremely fast, but the big hand that was grabbing at him was even faster. When he saw the big hand for the first time, it was still far away on the horizon. But when he looked again, the big hand was already close to Hichu Luoshu. In the next moment, Murong Yu could even feel the terrifying aura emitted from this big hand. At this moment, the big hand was already close to Hichu Luoshu. Seeing the big hand grab fiercely, Murong Yu felt that Hichu Luoshu's speed suddenly stagnated. And the 5 fingers of that big hand had already enveloped the entire Hichu Luoshu. Hichu Luoshu was about to be caught by the big hand. And Murong Yu was also deeply aware that once Hichu Luoshu was caught, it would be impossible for him to escape even if he wanted to. The strength that erupted from this big hand was really too terrifying. It was even countless times stronger than Feng Tsangqiong and that Black Shadow. Could it be a terrifying existence in the top 10 of the Saints' ranking? Or a supreme? The big hand suddenly closed. Murong Yu was completely helpless at this moment. Because in the banishment, he also couldn't change his speed. Seeing that the big hand was about to catch Hichu Luoshu. But at this moment, puff! With a sound, Murong Yu's eyes suddenly lit up and a familiar aura hit him in the face. At this critical moment, Murong Yu finally returned to the holy world. However, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, that big hand shattered the void and also appeared in the holy world. The big hand directly locked onto Hichu Luoshu and quickly grabbed at him again. Murong Yu let out a strange cry and directly activated Hichu Luoshu's teleportation ability, quickly teleporting back to the human territory. The place where he was banished to was still Blue Billows Island. However, what shocked Morong-yu the most was that, at the same time as the He-2 and the inscription of the Luo was sent out, the huge hand grabbed at the void once again. Like a shadow attached to the body, it followed the He-2 and the inscription of the Luo, and continued to grab at them. Whoosh! Morong-yu appeared in the human territory of the Holy World. However, the moment Hichu Luoshu appeared, that big hand also shattered billions of spacetime and appeared near Hichu Luoshu. The big hand shook and locked onto Hichu Luoshu and grabbed at him again. Morong-yu was shocked. With a thought, Hichu Luoshu disappeared on the spot again. However, what made Morong-yu helpless was that the big hand chased after him again. It seemed that no matter where Morong-yu appeared, that big hand would break through the void and come at him at any time. It wouldn't give up until it caught Morong-yu. Morong-yu felt a headache coming on. Although that big hand was almost Morong-yu every time, Morong-yu couldn't shake it off. Could he only continue to run like this? If this continued for a long time, his mind would probably collapse. Big Baddie, if I didn't guess wrongly, the owner of this big hand should be a supreme being. The little loli looked at Morong-yu with a serious expression and said in a low voice. Plop! Morong-yu staggered and almost fell to the ground. Then, he looked at the little loli speechlessly. Are you sure this guy is a supreme being? The little loli nodded seriously. Morong-yu wanted to cry but had no tears. Being chased by a supreme being? Was this his misfortune or his honor? Ordinary people hadn't even seen a supreme being before, let alone being chased by one. However, Morong-yu was constantly being chased by a supreme being. Moreover, that supreme being didn't seem to give up until it killed Morong-yu. This made Morong-yu extremely frustrated. Is there any way to get rid of this guy? Morong-yu wanted to cry but had no tears as he looked at the little loli. The little loli also became serious at this time. The strength of a supreme being is not something you can estimate right now. Their strength is beyond your expectations. If I didn't guess wrongly, this supreme being's original body is definitely in the ancient battlefield. And a supreme being's strength can easily cover most of the sacred world. Once you are locked on by him, as long as you are still in the sacred world, you will be sensed by him. A supreme being is that strong? Isn't that a supreme being? Morong-yu was speechless. If it was a supreme being, he could kill you with a thought. Why would he need to chase you? The little loli rolled her eyes. Morong-yu felt even more frustrated. Is there any way to get rid of this guy? Although a supreme being is strong, his divine sense can't cover the entire sacred world. However, your aura has already been locked on. No matter where you go, he will chase after you. However, if you are far enough from the ancient battlefield, he won't be able to do anything to you. The little loli pondered for a moment before saying, Divine World. Hearing the little loli's words, the two words, Divine World, instantly appeared in Morong-yu's mind. Although the sacred world was big, Morong-yu hadn't been to many places. And these places couldn't be far from the ancient battlefield. Hichu Luoshu couldn't be teleported. Of course, Morong-yu could fly over. However, how could his speed compare to that supreme being? Shwa. With a thought, Morong-yu used the Divine World's origin energy to teleport back to the Divine World. The moment he returned to the Divine World, he controlled the Divine World's origin energy to attack the Supreme Being's hand with incomparable ferocity. Although the Supreme Being was strong, it was still 2 worlds away from the Divine World. Although the power was still there, it wasn't that strong. And in the Divine World, Morong-yu was the absolute Supreme Being. Unless the Supreme Being could shatter the Divine World with a single palm. Perhaps the Supreme Being really had that strength. But this huge hand definitely didn't have that ability. Therefore, the moment this huge hand charged into the Divine World with Morong-yu, it was shattered by the Divine World's origin energy controlled by Morong-yu. At the same time when the huge hand was shattered, in the depths of the ancient battlefield. Third brother, you failed? You can't even kill an ordinary primal chaos ancestor sage? An illusory figure said in a deep voice with some displeasure. Big brother, how is that guy an ordinary person? But as long as he returns to the sacred world, I will definitely kill him. The person chasing Murong-yu was third brother. At this moment, he also said with a face of displeasure. Forget it. If there's a chance next time, try to kill him in one go. In the sacred world, we can't make a move for now. Otherwise, the other person who didn't speak pointed to the sky and said with a gloomy face. The other two instantly fell silent. The three of them were already very kind to be able to stay in the ancient battlefield. And if they dared to make a move in the sacred world, even if they had the strength of an supreme being, there was a possibility that they would be killed. Little lowly, aren't there only 10 supreme beings in the sacred world? Do you know who that supreme being was? After killing the huge hand that was chasing him, Murong-yu finally heaved a sigh of relief. But very soon, he was puzzled again. The reason why he asked the little lowly and not Hichu was because he felt that the little lowly's background was deep and should be able to answer his question. The 10 supreme beings that we speak of are supreme beings that have been titled. And in the sacred world, other than these titled supreme beings, there are a few other supreme beings. The little lowly pondered for a moment before she finally said slowly. Murong-yu was stunned by the little lowly's words. That means that there aren't only 10 supreme beings in the sacred world? There are other supreme beings? Are there many? The little lowly rolled her eyes and looked at Murong-yu speechlessly. There are only about 100,000 experts on the saint rankings. Do you think there are many supreme beings or not? Based on my estimation, there are no more than 1,000 supreme beings in the entire sacred world. 1,000 supreme beings? Murong-yu swallowed his saliva. This was an extremely terrifying number. But very soon, Murong-yu had a new question. Since there were so many supreme beings in the sacred world, why hadn't he seen these supreme beings in the sacred world? Even the supreme beings hadn't appeared before. Chapter 1683. Looking at the black shadow in his hand, Murong-yu's face showed a touch of joy. Although this time, he was almost killed by Feng Sangqiong and the others. Finally, he was exiled to the ancient battlefield, but he was almost killed by the supremes of the ancient battlefield. However, this time, not only did he get the heart of the ocean, but he also killed that black shadow. The heart of the ocean was very powerful. Once Yu Mengqing refined it, although he didn't know if she could enter the supremes. There was absolutely no suspense in rushing into the holy list. As for the black shadow that was killed by Murong-yu, it was actually a young man. Strictly speaking, this was not a person, but a spiritual body. In other words, this person's whole body was composed of souls, just like those undead. However, it was much more advanced than the average undead. After all, this guy's strength was extremely terrifying. Even Feng Sangqiong was not his opponent. After studying for a while, Murong-yu knew why this young man was so weak. When this guy fought with Feng Sangqiong, although he succeeded in seriously injuring and repelling Feng Sangqiong, but he was also injured. Moreover, this person's ranking on the mortal saint list should be lower than Feng Sangqiong. The reason why he was so powerful was that this person was a soul saint. However, this person's soul was already injured before he caught Murong-yu. And he didn't expect that Murong-yu was also a soul saint, and Murong-yu's soul had reached the 6-star level. Therefore, the young man's soul was directly killed by Murong-yu in one blow. His soul was at least a 7-star level when he was alive. Murong-yu's face flashed with a touch of shock, and there was a trace of lingering fear in the depths of his eyes. If it wasn't for Feng Sangqiong's severely injured soul, Murong-yu wouldn't be his opponent at all, let alone kill him. A 7-star level soul. If I refine him, my soul will probably improve a lot. It has been a long time since my soul reached the 6-star level. It's also time to improve my realm. Murong Yu mumbled to himself. After that, he ignored the little lowly beside him, and sat down cross-legged. He was about to devour the young man to improve his soul. The little lowly rolled her eyes, but she didn't disturb Murong Yu. Instead, she left. Murong Yu began to refine the young man. While Murong Yu was refining the young man, on Blue Billows Island, Xiao Yang and the others looked at each other. Although Murong Yu was exiled to the ancient battlefield and chased back to the divine world by Ji Zun, it seemed like a long time had passed. However, it didn't even take half a day. At this moment, the three of them looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. Bastard! The gloomy Xiao Yang suddenly shouted. He suddenly realized that Murong Yu, who he had thrown into his spatial treasure, had disappeared without him knowing. Who is that person? Could it be a Nine Heavens Supreme? Long Qing's eyes flickered coldly as he said in a deep voice. However, no one knew if he was talking to Ling Wenxing and Xiao Yang or talking to himself. Although the ocean's heart is rare, it's not worth a Nine Heavens Supreme to take action. That person seems to be a person. Ling Wenxing pondered for a long time before he suddenly said. Immediately, Long Qing and Xiao Yang looked at Ling Wenxing with puzzlement and confusion. Recently, a peerless genius has appeared in the human race, Murong Yu. This guy not only has the chaotic celestial body, but also Hichu Luoshu. Just now, the ocean's heart and Feng Sangqiong's sudden disappearance was very similar to Hichu Luoshu's teleportation. Murong Yu, Long Qing and Xiao Yang frowned slightly. Are you sure it's Murong Yu? Ling Wenxing shook his head. He didn't dare to be sure. It was just a suspicion. However, Long Qing smiled coldly. Since that's the case, I'll make a trip to the human race. Chaotic celestial body, hee, I didn't go find you, but you took the initiative to provoke me. As he spoke, Long Qing had already taken a step forward and disappeared on the spot. Xiao Yang also snorted coldly and followed Long Qing. He felt that the person he caught earlier seemed to be the one who took away the ocean's heart. It could also be Murong Yu. Murong Yu? Hee, I'm really interested in you. Ling Wenxing smiled slightly. Then, he took a step forward and also disappeared on the spot. After the three ruthless experts left, the experts near the Blue Billow Island also left one after another. In the end, only the people of the Blue Billow clan looked at the sinking Blue Billow Island and wanted to cry but had no tears. Murong Yu, you and I can't live under the same sky. Phoenix clan, deep in Wudong Mountain. The void suddenly shattered, and a figure in a sorry state fell from the void. Then, he fell to the ground with his face flat on the ground. Then, a voice filled with incomparable resentment came out of this person's mouth. The slightly wrinkled mountain trembled violently, as if it was about to shatter. Swoosh! A figure stepped on the air and appeared beside this person. Then, that person looked at the person who fell to the ground and exclaimed, "Old ancestor, how did you end up like this?" The person who came was none other than Feng Qiankuan, who was killed by Murong Yu once, the second strongest expert of the Phoenix clan. And there was only one person who could be called Old Ancestor by Feng Sangqiong. That was the old ancestor of the Phoenix clan, Feng Sangqiong. Feng Sangqiong got up from the ground. His body shook slightly and he returned to his original appearance. But his face was very gloomy, so gloomy that it seemed as if water was about to drip out. His eyes flickered with an incomparably venomous light. Old ancestor, did you meet Murong Yu? Did you suffer in his hands? Feng Qiankuan couldn't help but be shocked when he thought of Feng Sangqiong's roar just now. And when he said the three words, Murong Yu, Feng Qiankuan's eyes were shining with intense resentment. What's the matter? Feng Sangqiong looked at Feng Qiankuan indifferently. His tone was cold and contained a strong murderous intent. Didn't Feng Qiankuan go to deal with Murong Yu? And he even brought along the all-directional extermination array. However, Morong Yu had appeared on Jade Billows Island perfectly fine and had almost killed Feng Sangqiong in the end. Although Morong Yu didn't cause any direct harm to Feng Sangqiong. But Morong Yu banished Feng Sangqiong to the ancient battlefield. Feng Sangqiong didn't have time to settle the score with Morong Yu before he met that young man. He inexplicably fought with that young man. In the end, he was no match for the other party and his soul was injured. After losing, Feng Sangqiong fled. But he thought that this matter was over. But in less than half a day, an expert who made Feng Sangqiong's soul tremble suddenly attacked to kill him. That person was definitely a supreme. Feng Sangqiong didn't even have time to react and was killed by the other party's palm. Even if those three people weren't titled supreme, they were still supreme. Although the Holy List experts were powerful, the gap between them and supreme was too big. Just like the Holy List experts and the Holy Ancestor, there was a huge gap between the two. Therefore, Feng Sangqiong didn't even have a chance to fight back. However, as the strongest old ancestor of the Feng clan, Feng Sangqiong of course cultivated the Phoenix Nirvana. It was because of the Phoenix Nirvana that Feng Sangqiong had the life to return to the Feng clan. But even so, Feng Sangqiong also lost his life. Feng Sangqiong of course hated the Supreme who killed him. But the one he hated the most was Morong Yu. If it wasn't for Morong Yu, how could Feng Sangqiong die once? Even after he was resurrected, he almost couldn't come back. Although Feng Sangqiong's death wasn't directly caused by Morong Yu, it couldn't be separated from Morong Yu. And for the person who killed him, Feng Sangqiong's anger could be imagined. He and Morong Yu were already irreconcilable. Investigate Morong Yu's whereabouts for me. Do everything in your power to find out anything about him. Mobilize all forces to hunt down Morong Yu and his related people. Kill everyone without mercy. Feng Sangqiong looked at Feng Qiankuan and said with killing intent. Feng Qiankuan was shocked. Previously, when Morong Yu almost exterminated the Feng clan, Feng Sangqiong wasn't so angry. What did Morong Yu do to Feng Sangqiong? What made him so angry? Feng Qiankuan was quite curious, but he didn't inquire. And Feng Sangqiong's order was exactly what he wanted. He also wanted to kill Morong Yu and even the people related to Morong Yu. Therefore, the Feng clan and those affiliated clans of the Feng clan, even those people and forces who wanted to curry favor with the Feng clan began to inquire about Morong Yu's whereabouts throughout the Holy World. A few days later, Feng Qiankuan came to Feng Sangqiong again. Is there any news about Morong Yu? Feng Sangqiong looked at Feng Qiankuan and said indifferently. Feng Qiankuan nodded, but his face was very ugly. Feng Sangqiong's face was a little ugly, but he didn't say anything. He just glanced at Feng Qiankuan indifferently. Feng Qiankuan's heart trembled and he quickly said, "There's no specific news about Morong Yu and Shengzhen. But the news from the Holy Ranking said that Morong Yu's ranking on the Holy Ranking soared again and has already rushed to 90,000. Soared by 10,000? Feng Sangqiong was shocked and his face became gloomier. Could it be that he has already refined the heart of the ocean? Feng Qiankuan wasn't surprised by this, because at this time, everyone in the Holy World knew that Morong Yu had seized the heart of the ocean. And a few days after seizing the heart of the ocean, his strength soared. Feng Sangqiong couldn't help but think this way. Old ancestor, what should we do? We can't find Morong Yu at all. If this bastard has refined the heart of the ocean, his strength will probably soar again. Feng Qiankuan's face revealed a strong killing intent. Because at this time, Morong Yu's ranking on the Holy Ranking was already higher than his. At worst, we can ask the old ancestor to come out and directly kill Morong Yu. Feng Sangqiong's eyes flashed with a terrifying cold killing intent. Old ancestor? A trace of doubt flashed across Feng Qiankuan's eyes. Because he had never heard that the Phoenix clan had an even stronger old ancestor. As one of the peak clans of the Holy Clan, do Do you think our Phoenix clan only has this little strength? Feng Sangqiong smiled faintly and his eyes flashed with cold light. Feng Qianquan was startled and then his face was filled with ecstasy. Chapter 1684. Murong Yu naturally didn't know about the conversation between Feng Sangqiong and Feng Qianquan. He also didn't know that the Feng clan actually had an old ancestor with unfathomable strength. At this time, he who was originally cultivating in Hichu Luoshu had already stopped. 7-star soul. Murong Yu's face revealed a smile. That young man who almost killed Feng Sangqiong really didn't disappoint Murong Yu's expectations. When Murong Yu completely devoured the other party's soul, Murong Yu's soul also successfully rushed into the 7-star soul. In the Holy World, there were only 9 realms of soul saint, from 1 star to 9 star. Among them, 1-star soul was the weakest and 9-star soul was the strongest. Murong Yu, who reached 7-star soul, was already considered an expert among soul saints. At this time, the soul sea in Murong Yu's soul space had already doubled, from the original 500 million miles to the current 1 billion miles. A soul sea with a radius of 1 billion miles. And it was even deeper than an ordinary ocean. At this time, even Murong Yu didn't know how much soul power he had. Moreover, after the soul reached 7-star, it wasn't as simple as increasing soul power. Murong Yu's soul attack had also skyrocketed countless times. Before the breakthrough, Murong Yu's soul attack couldn't do anything to an expert of Feng Sangqiong's level. Of course, if Feng Sangqiong's soul didn't have any protection, Murong Yu could still kill him. But he couldn't when the other party was defending. Now, Murong Yu felt that even if he faced Feng Sangqiong now, he also had the power to fight. After all, Feng Sangqiong was injured by the young man who was refined by Murong Yu. Although Murong Yu's soul wasn't as good as that young man, it was almost there. At this time, if he faced Feng Sangqiong, he wouldn't be afraid at all. The advancement of the soul finally made Murong Yu's soul battle technique, that hadn't improved for a long time, also had a breakthrough. Soul God Fist evolved into Soul Saint Fist. Soul Slash evolved into Saint Soul Slash, and Heaven Annihilation Divine Net also evolved into Heaven Annihilation Divine Net. As for Soul Storm, however, he didn't evolve. But even so, the might of the spiritual storm was more than 10 times stronger than before. In fact, just the improvement of his combat skills had increased his power by quite a bit. Coupled with the fact that Murong Yu's soul had grown increasingly powerful, Murong Yu's soul power had increased by at least 10 times. Just in terms of soul, Murong Yu already had the power to fight with Feng Sangqiong, this kind of expert. After this breakthrough, Murong Yu's cultivation had also broken through. Second-order Chaos Ancestor Saint. However, Murong Yu's physical body did not break through at the same time. After all, his physical body had already reached the level of a primal Chaos Ancestral artifact. If he made another breakthrough, it would become a supreme artifact. How could it be so easy to become a supreme weapon? Even so, Murong Yu's physical body was much stronger than before. Even among the primal Chaos Ancestral weapons, they were relatively powerful. What surprised Murong Yu the most was that the 9 characters mantra had also been upgraded. Although none of them had been upgraded, the power of each mantra was several times stronger than before. In general, Murong Yu's strength was now more than 10 times stronger than before. I wonder what my ranking on the holy list is now? Feng Qianquan and the others are no match for me at all, right? If I meet Feng Qianquan again, I'll kill him directly. Murong Yu sneered in his heart. However, what Murong Yu did not know was that his ranking on the holy list had indeed risen, surpassing Feng Qianquan. But it did not skyrocket as he had imagined. It only rushed to 90,000. This ranking did not seem to match Murong Yu's combat strength. To Murong Yu's surprise, not only did he break through, but Xian Hua, who had been merging with the heart of devil in Hichu Luoshu, also broke through and successfully rushed into the holy list. However, Xianhua was different from Murongyu. When Murongyu was only a first-order Chaos Ancestor Saint, he had already rushed into the holy list. However, Xianhua only rushed into the holy list after reaching the 9th-order Chaos Ancestor Saint. It was the same even with the heart of devil. After all, there were not many monsters like Murongyu in the world. At this time, although Xianhua had broken through, he was still consolidating his realm. In Murongyu's opinion, this guy's ranking on the holy list was probably not very high. He should be similar to Yin Gaohan, who had merged with the heart of ice. However, once Xianhua completely merged with the heart of devil, his strength could still skyrocket. Mengqing, are you ready? Murongyu held the heart of ocean in his hand and looked at Yu Mengqing with a serious expression. The heart of ocean was still arrogant, but after entering Hichu Luoshu, it was no longer under its control. It was directly suppressed by Murongyu. At this time, Murongyu was ready to let Yu Mengqing merge with the heart of ocean. Yu Mengqing's expression was serious, but there was also a trace of uncontrollable excitement as she nodded heavily. Kurlan and the rest rushed into the holy list. Although Yu Mengqing was not jealous as they were all sisters, she was rather envious. Now, the heart of ocean gave her the opportunity to enter the holy list and even had the possibility of becoming a paragon. How could she not be excited? In that case, prepare to merge with the heart of ocean. Murongyu nodded slightly and then passed the heart of ocean to Yu Mengqing. Yu Mengqing received the heart of ocean excitedly. However, just as she received the heart of ocean, it started to tremble violently with a buzz. It even tried to break free from Yu Mengqing's control. Murongyu's face darkened immediately, and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Heart of ocean, I'll give you two choices. Merge with Mengqing or die. As he spoke, Murongyu directly mobilized the power of Hichu Luoshu to suppress the heart of ocean. The heart of ocean trembled even more violently, and a trace of fluctuation spread out, containing traces of fear. The heart of ocean, the heart of ice, and the heart of the devil were all existences with spiritual awareness. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chosen their own masters. The heart of ocean trembled when it sensed Murongyu's intense killing intent. It knew that Murongyu definitely had the ability to kill it, and Murongyu would definitely do such a thing. Thus, the heart of ocean stopped resisting. Although Yu Mengqing was not its ideal master, it did not want to die. Thus, under Murongyu's threat, the heart of ocean began to merge with Yu Mengqing. Because the heart of ocean was the one who initiated the process was very smooth and fast. Murongyu. Xianhua had already consolidated his cultivation and transmitted a message to Murongyu. Murongyu left a power clone by Yu Mengqing's side to protect her, while his true body appeared by Xianhua's side. Not bad. Once you've completely merged with the heart of the devil, it shouldn't be a problem for you to make it into the top 100 of the saint rankings. Murongyu smiled. Xianhua also smiled, but soon a trace of hatred appeared on his face. Murongyu, I want to return to the Fiend clan for revenge. Apart from him and the ancestor of the Xian family, everyone else in the Xian family had been killed. The hatred of having his family annihilated still lingered in Xianhua's heart. It had become an inner demon for him. There are those among the 10 great Fiend clans who are stronger than you. With your strength, not only will you not be able to take revenge, you might even be killed by them. Murongyu frowned as he spoke in a deep voice. Xianhua's eyes were filled with hatred. On the surface, I'm no match for them, but I can assassinate them. Now that I've obtained the heart of the devil, I'll destroy all of the 10 great Fiend clans one day. Xianhua, do you want to unify the Fiend clan? Murongyu suddenly asked. Xianhua was stunned. Then, he smiled bitterly and shook his head. With his strength, he couldn't even take revenge, let alone unify the Fiend clan. The Fiend clan was also one of the top clans among the Sacred clan. How difficult would it be to unify them? In fact, the Fiend clan wasn't even unified yet. Instead, it was controlled by the 10 great Fiend clans. I'm only asking you if you want to? Murong Yu asked again, looking at the hesitant Xian Hua. Yes. Xian Hua had always had a trace of ambition. He was hesitant because he didn't have the strength. But just because he didn't have the strength, it didn't mean that he didn't want to unify the Fiend clan. Moreover, after merging with the heart of the devil, he would be the master of all the Fiend clans. This couldn't be changed unless he gave up the heart of the devil. But was that possible? It was impossible for Xian Hua to give up the heart of the devil. Once the heart of the devil was still with him, he would be the enemy of all the Fiend clans. Everyone would want to snatch the heart of the devil. The solution to this was to suppress all the Fiend clans and become their master. Murong Yu smiled and stretched out his hand in front of Xian Hua. In his palm there was a finger-sized ball. What is this? Xian Hua was stunned. A trace of Meng Man's soul, the soul pearl. As long as you want, you can crush this ball and Meng Man will die immediately. As he spoke, Meng Man appeared beside Murong Yu. Xian Hua was puzzled. He didn't know Meng Man. After all, he was just a little genius from a small family. He didn't have any interaction with the experts on the sacred ranking. Meng Man was an expert who ranked more than 90,000 on the sacred ranking. Greetings, Master. Meng Man bowed respectfully to Xian Hua. He had to be respectful because Xian Hua controlled his soul. Meng Man also knew that even if he snatched the soul pearl from Xian Hua, he wouldn't be able to regain his freedom because Murong Yu still controlled his soul. An expert who ranked more than 90,000 on the sacred ranking? When Murong Yu introduced Meng Man, Xian Hua was shocked. He was even more shocked by Murong Yu's strength. Even Meng Man was suppressed. How terrifying was Murong Yu's strength! Xian Hua was extremely confident in unifying the Fiend clan. As long as Murong Yu was willing to help, it shouldn't be difficult to unify the Fiend clan. At this moment, Meng Man was filled with confidence. Murong Yu didn't delay. He directly teleported back to the sacred world and flew towards the Fiend clan. During this process, the experts of the Phoenix clan arrived outside the spaceless tunnel. They seemed to have discovered Shengzhen's existence. Chapter 1685. Boom. Shengzhen and the others were cultivating in the Mountain Sea secret realm. Everything was as quiet as usual. Nothing had happened. However, all of a sudden, the entire Mountain Sea secret realm shook violently, as if it had been slapped by a super expert. Bang! 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 Shengzhen and the others, who were caught off guard, were immediately sent flying by the terrifying vibration. Some of the weaker Shengzhen disciples even spat out blood from their mouth. Some of the unlucky ones even had their bodies completely shattered. Enemy attack! Although Shengzhen's disciples were caught off guard, they quickly reacted. For a moment, many people cried out in alarm. Boom! 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 At this moment, the Mountain Sea secret realm shook even more violently. Shengzhen's experts could see that an incomparably terrifying force tore through the void and fiercely bombarded the Mountain Sea secret realm. Thus, many of Shengzhen's disciples saw the sky above the Mountain Sea secret realm being constantly shattered by those forces. However, at this moment, many of Shengzhen's disciples came to their senses. Bursts of power erupted from their bodies and quickly disappeared into the surrounding void. With the support of Shengzhen's disciples' power, the space of the Mountain Sea secret realm quickly stabilized. Although those forces were still bombarding the Mountain Sea secret realm, they could no longer shake the entire space. Even the sky was no longer shattered. Shengzhen's disciples heaved a sigh of relief. Who attacked Shengzhen? Zhao Jiqing and the other Shengzhen's experts stepped out and floated above Shengzhen's head, looking outside coldly. It's the people of the Phoenix clan. Murong Yu's energy clone also appeared beside Zhao Jiqing. He glanced at the people outside Shenzhen and sneered. Zhao Jiqing frowned slightly. In fact, she had already discovered that those people outside were experts of the Phoenix clan. However, how did the people of the Phoenix clan find the Mountain Sea secret realm? It should be known that when Murong had resettled the Mountain Sea secret realm here, Shenzhen had not left the Mountain Sea secret realm. In fact, most of the disciples in Shenzhen didn't even know where they were. Therefore, it ruled out the possibility that someone in Shenzhen was a mole. It doesn't matter how they found us, these people actually dared to attack us. They are simply courting death. Zhang Ao, keep all of them here. Murong Yu's avatar said coldly. Zhang Ao didn't say anything. He took a step forward and rushed out of the Mountain Sea secret realm. Then, he immediately attacked. Boom! A terrifying power erupted from Zhang Ao's hand, instantly covering a radius of 5 million kilometers. It brought with it a world-destroying aura as it pressed down. Earlier, Zhang Ao and the other 12 had already charged into the Saint rankings with Murong Yu's help. Although there were many experts from the Phoenix clan outside, they were not weak. However, how could they be a match for Zhang Ao, an expert on the Saint rankings? In the blink of an eye, most of the people of the Phoenix clan were killed by Zhang Ao with a slap. Then, Zhang Ao attacked again and again, directly killing all the experts of the Phoenix clan. Not a single one was left alive. Swoosh! After killing many experts of the Phoenix clan, Zhang Ao returned to the Mountain Sea secret realm. However, he frowned slightly and came to Murong Yu's side. He said in a deep voice, "Sacred Master, I found that something is wrong with these people of the Phoenix clan. Although there are many of them, there is only one rank 9 Chaotic Ancestor Saint. There are less than 100 Chaotic Ancestor Saint experts in total. The rest of them are even weaker. What are the people of the Phoenix clan plotting?" Shenzhen's upper echelons frowned. They all smelled a conspiracy. No matter what these people are plotting, we'll deal with them as they come. If they dare to invade, we'll just kill them, Murong Yu's avatar said coldly. Murong Yu, what's wrong? Murong Yu's original body had already appeared in the demon clan at this time. Seeing Murong Yu frowning slightly, Xian Hua could not help but ask. Murong Yu shook his head slightly and said with a faint smile, "I just suddenly thought of something. It's nothing. Let's continue." As he spoke, Murong Yu took the lead and soared into the sky and flew forward. When the Phoenix clan attacked the Mountain Sea secret realm, Murong Yu's original body already knew. How did the Phoenix clan find the Mountain Sea secret realm, and why there were so few people? And they were so weak? Was there a conspiracy? Murong Yu could not figure it out. However, just as his avatar had said, he would deal with whatever came his way. And this episode did not change Murong Yu's plan. The demon clan is not unified. The 10 great families almost control the entire demon clan. Of course, the demon clan is very big, and the 10 great families can't control it all. Therefore, other than the 10 great families, there are other forces controlling the demon clan. However, as long as we suppress the 10 great families, we can basically control the entire demon clan. Xian Hua explained to Murong Yu on the way. Murong Yu nodded slightly and turned to look at Meng Man. How strong are the 10 great families? How many experts on the Saint ranking are there? What's the highest ranking? Although Murong Yu had already controlled Meng Man, he did not care about this at all. As for Xian Hua, the Xian family was just an ordinary family in the demon clan. He did not know the strength of the 10 great families at all. The 10 great families, each family has at least 5 experts on the Saint ranking. Their rankings are different. However, each of the 10 great families has a terrifying existence ranked in the top 1,000. The Qi family even has an ancestor ranked 30th on the Saint ranking. When he said this, a trace of fear flashed in Meng Man's eyes. He must have suffered a loss at the hands of that ancestor. 30th on the Saint ranking? Xian Hua was almost scared to death. Previously, he did not know what the saint ranking was. After these few days of being taught by Morong Yu and Meng Man, Xian Hua finally understood how terrifying the experts on the saint ranking were. Not to mention the top 100 experts on the saint ranking, even the top 100,000 experts were terrifying. Meng Man was only at 90,000. As for him, the highest was only around 106,000. Moreover, other than the Qi family's ancestor, the other 10 great families all had an ancestor ranked in the top 1,000. How was he going to fight them? While he was shocked, Xian Hua's face showed hesitation. In the end, he looked at Morong Yu. If he and Meng Man challenged the 10 great families with their strength, they would definitely be courting death. Now, he could only rely on Morong Yu. Morong Yu patted Xian Hua's shoulder and said confidently, "Don't worry, this time you will definitely unify the demon clan." Looking at Morong Yu's confident face, Xian Hua did not know where his confidence came from, so he nodded. The hesitation on his face disappeared and was replaced with a look of determination. The connoisseur, one of the 10 great families of the demon clan. It was also one of the weakest families of the 10 great families. Under Meng Man's continent, Morong Yu and Xian Hua quickly appeared outside the connoisseur. The 10 great families of the demon clan had the same status as the 10 sacred lands of the human clan. However, the 10 great families did not have as many disciples as the 10 sacred lands. After all, they were only families and not sections. Even so, the connoisseur headquarters had hundreds of thousands of disciples. However, these people were scattered in the city. Only those core disciples could be in the connoisseur. "Stop, who are you? Take another step forward and kill without mercy." Morong Yu and the other 2 had just appeared in front of the connoisseur when they were stopped by 2 fierce-looking servants. Although these 2 servants were only in the imperishable stage, they looked arrogant and looked down on people. Dogs relying on their master's power. Among the 3, Meng Man was the first to lose his temper. He was originally one of the Meng family's ancestors. How could he not be angry when these imperishable stage ants looked down on him? "Get out of my way!" Meng Man took a step forward. His expression was cold and murderous as he looked at the 2 servants. When the 2 imperishable stage servants met Meng Man's cold and murderous eyes, they were immediately frightened. However, they quickly reacted. "You're courting death!" The 2 imperishable stage servants shouted and stepped forward at the same time. They fiercely pulled out the battle sabers at their waists and slashed at Meng Man. Seeing this scene, Morong Yu was immediately stunned. Were these 2 idiots stupid? Or stupid? Did they not know who was in front of them? Did they think Meng Man would not dare to attack them like the others? "You're courting death!" Meng Man was so angry that he laughed and took a step forward. At the same time, the aura on his body suddenly exploded. Bang! Bang! The 2 servants were only imperishable stage small saints. How could they resist Meng Man's aura? Immediately, he was shattered into a cloud of blood mist by the aura. Even his soul was killed. Even the entire door of the connoisseur collapsed under the impact of the terrifying aura. Instantly, the deafening sound shocked many people inside and outside the connoisseur. After the shock, the connoisseur quickly reacted. Enemy attack! At the same time that they were calling the police, quite a few of them had already rushed toward Morong Yu's location. On the way, they used all kinds of unique skills to attack Morong Yu and the other 2. Morong Yu stood in place calmly. Xian Hua, who was next to him, was a little nervous. After all, he was facing one of the top 10 families of the evil demon clan this time. "Xing Yushan, get out here!" Meng Man stood in place. The aura on his body swept out like a torrent. Those experts who were rushing over were constantly shaken off and sent flying away. The attacks of the disciples of the connoisseur could not even get close to Meng Man before they were shattered. Meng Man shouted at the connoisseur. The loud voice covered the entire connoisseur and even the entire city. It even quickly spread into the distance and covered many surrounding cities. Xing Yushan was the head of the connoisseur. Usually, in the connoisseur's territory, who dared to call Xing Yushan by his name? Therefore, Meng Man's shout directly stunned countless people. Many experts in the nearby cities also flew over at high speed. Some were die-hard experts and experts of the connoisseur. Some just came to watch the show. Chapter 1686. How dare you! A rank 9 chaotic ancestor saint flew out from the depths of the experts and roared fiercely. In the process, he reached out his large hand and slammed it toward Meng Man. It covered Murong Yu and Xian Hua as it came crashing down on them. Murong Yu remained calm and stood where he was without a change in expression. Xian Hua gradually calmed down as well. You overestimate yourself. Meng Man was a little angry when he saw a rank 9 chaotic ancestor saint attacking him. He didn't seem to do anything, but he threw a punch at the peak primal chaos ancestral saint expert. You're courting death. The peak chaotic ancestor saint was one of the experts and had terrifying strength. An ordinary rank 9 chaotic ancestor saint was no match for him. Although Meng Man's aura was powerful, he did not take it seriously. Therefore, he smirked and slammed his large hand down, intending to kill Murong Yu and the other two with one slap. Little did they know that although Meng Man was also a peak chaotic ancestor saint, he was actually an expert on the saint ranking. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the attacks of the two men collided in midair. Many disciples of the experts watched in anticipation as their ancestor's large hand was shattered by Meng Man's punch. Meng Man's fist did not stop at all and continued forward. After a loud noise, all the experts revealed looks of shock and disbelief. This was because the powerful ancestor in their eyes had been blown up by Meng Man's punch. Was this still an expert ancestor? Other than the experts on the saint ranking, this ancestor's strength was definitely in the top 5. However, the ancestor had been killed just like that? The ancestor must have been careless. That's why he was blown up by this person. When the ancestor recovers his physical body, it will be the death of this person. Many disciples of the experts had this thought in their mind. However, what shocked them was that their ancestor had not recovered his physical body at all. In other words, this ancestor had been killed by Meng Man with one punch. How terrifying was this person's strength to kill an ancestor with one punch? For a moment, all the experts gasped and looked at Meng Man in horror. Their bodies unknowingly retreated. Xing Yushan, if you don't come out now, you experts will all die. After killing an expert patriarch with a single punch and intimidating many experts, Meng Man didn't attack again. Instead, he started to clamor again. He knew that this time, he was not here to destroy the experts, but to subdue them. Meng Man, what do you mean? Could it be that the Meng clan wants to start a war with me? Even if your Meng family is powerful, we experts are not easy to bully. An angry voice filled with killing intent came out. At the same time, 5 figures appeared in the line of sight of Murong Yu and the other two. The one who spoke was a handsome middle-aged man. However, at this moment, his face was filled with rage. A terrifying killing intent erupted from his body, enveloping the entire place and locking onto Meng Man. This person was Xing Yushan, the clan leader of the experts. You think too much. I'm not here on behalf of the Meng family. I'm here on behalf of my lord. Xing Yushan, are you willing to submit? What? Hearing Meng Man's words, although Xing Yushan and the others were extremely angry, they were also shocked. Didn't Meng Man leave the Meng family? Then who was his lord? For a moment, Xing Yushan and the others kept glancing at Murong Yu and Xian Hua. In the end, their gazes were focused on Murong Yu. After all, Murong Yu had been in a high position for a long time and already had the aura of a superior. Although Xian Hua had merged with the heart of devil, he didn't have the aura of Murong Yu. Murong Yu gestured to Xian Hua. Xian Hua took a step forward and stood on the other side of Meng Man. He glanced at the experts and said in a deep voice, "Meng Man's lord is me, Xian Hua, the master chosen by the heart of devil." In the beginning, Xian Hua felt that he did not have enough confidence and was a little timid in the face of so many experts from the grand race. But in the end, he calmed down. "Heart of devil? You're Xian Hua?" Hearing Xian Hua's words, Xing Yushan and the others were shocked. However, soon, their gazes were focused on Xian Hua. They couldn't help but reveal a strong sense of greed in their eyes. At this time, they were still thinking of snatching the heart of devil. Heart of devil? Haha, Xian Hua, you're really bold. You actually dare to appear in front of the experts. We experts would like to thank you. Thank you for giving us the heart of devil. Thank you for allowing us experts to become the masters of the entire devil tribe. I believe that it won't be long before we experts unify the entire devil tribe. Xing Yushan suddenly laughed loudly. At the same time, he stretched out his hand and grabbed at Xian Hua. At the same time, the 4 experts on the saint rankings by his side attacked Meng Man as well. As for Morong Yu, he was just a stage 2 chaotic ancestor sage. They directly ignored him. Xian Hua's face changed suddenly. It was extremely gloomy and a trace of anger flashed in his eyes. He took a step forward fearlessly and attacked as well, throwing a punch at Xing Yushan. On the other hand, Meng Man was enraged. He immediately charged at the 4 experts on the saint ranking. A terrifying aura erupted from his body and shot up into the sky. In an instant it enveloped the entire city. As for Meng Man, he locked onto the 4 experts on the saint rankings and unleashed his most violent attack. Boom! In a flash, Xian Hua had already exchanged a blow with Xing Yushan. Although Xian Huan had already entered the saint ranking, his ranking was far below Xing Yushan's. Therefore, Xian Huan was immediately sent flying after the exchange of blows. However, Xing Yushan's body only swayed slightly. Then, Xing Yushan laughed loudly and took a step forward. In a flash, he turned into a stream of light and charged at Xian Hua. Murong Yu still stood motionless with his arms crossed in front of his chest. However, Meng Man panicked when he saw this. Boom! 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 Meng Man unleashed his strongest power and sent the 4 experts of the Meng clan flying. With a sway of his body, he smashed through the void and pounced towards Xing Yushan. "Xing Yushan, I'm your opponent. Go to hell." As he shouted, Meng Man's large hand broke through the endless spacetime and locked onto Xing Yushan's head. Xing Yushan was shocked. He had no choice but to give up on killing Xian Hua and fight Meng Man. However, Xing Yushan felt helpless because Meng Man's ranking on the saint ranking was much higher than his. He was no match for Meng Man alone. The other 4 experts on the saint ranking were no match for Meng Man either. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been sent flying by Meng Man. Let's attack together and take down Meng Man first. Xing Yushan was enraged as he was forced to retreat by Meng Man. The 4 experts on the saint ranking shamelessly pounced on Meng Man. However, Xing Yushan was speechless because Meng Man seemed to be on steroids today. He was extremely brave. Why were the 5 of them tied with Meng Man? In fact, Xing Yushan was at a disadvantage. "Hey Xian Hua!" As Meng Man's group of 6 fought in the sky, the ordinary primal chaos ancestor sages let out a battle cry and unleashed powerful attacks at Murong Yu and Xian Hua. "You're courting death." Xian Hua couldn't help but recall the moment when Xian family had been destroyed when he saw these people attacking. There were also experts among the people who had destroyed Xian Hua. With a roar, Xian Hua attacked directly. Bang! 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 Xian Hua was an expert on the saint ranking and he had attacked in anger. How could these ordinary experts withstand it? Xian Hua had killed dozens of chaotic ancestor sages and other experts with a single punch. Kill him from afar. Seeing how ferocious Xian Hua was, the experts quickly retreated and began to attack Xian Hua from afar. However, Xian Hua had told them the difference between an ordinary expert and an expert on the saint ranking. In a flash, Xian Hua had already rushed into the crowd and started a massacre. Murong Yu didn't stop him. If he wanted to unify the evil demon clan, he had to kill. Those who were killed were afraid and naturally submitted. Like a wolf in a flock of sheep, it didn't take long for many experts to be killed by Xian Hua. Seeing this scene, Xing Yushan and the other experts on the saint ranking were furious. They had wanted to kill Xian Hua more than once, but they were held back by Meng Man. The 5 of them couldn't do anything to Meng Man. In fact, if Meng Man was replaced by Feng Qiankuan, these people would have been killed long ago. Meng Man's strength was still a little inferior to Feng Qiankuan's. Enough! At this moment, a soft voice came from the depths of the experts. Although the voice wasn't loud, it sounded like thunder in Meng Man and Xian Hua's ears, exploding their eardrums. At the same time, an extremely terrifying pressure appeared out of thin air. Bang! Bang! 2 heavy objects fell to the ground with a dull thud. Looking over, they saw that Meng Man and Xian Hua, who were extremely fierce just now, had been suppressed on the ground. However, the experts didn't feel any pressure. At the same time, a middle-aged man appeared in front of everyone. Seeing Murong Yu still standing there calmly, the middle-aged man who had just appeared couldn't help but exclaim. One must know that his immense pressure didn't just suppress Xian Hua and Meng Man, but also Murong Yu. However, his pressure didn't seem to have any effect on Murong Yu at all, so he couldn't help but be surprised. This person's strength is much stronger than mine, the expert's great ancestor muttered to himself. At the same time, he looked at Murong Yu with an extremely vigilant gaze. His face was full of seriousness. Chapter 1687. Who are you? Xing Yuan looked at Murong Yu cautiously. Xing Yuan was the elder ancestor of the connoisseurs, and he was the most powerful one. His ranking on the saint ranking was as high as 600. He was in the top 1,000 on the saint ranking. It was because of Xing Yuan that the connoisseurs were able to remain as one of the top 10 families in the demon tribe. Otherwise, they would have fallen long ago. Xing Yushan and the rest heaved a sigh of relief when they saw the elder ancestor. However, they soon realized that something was amiss. Why was the elder ancestor, who had always been fearless and overbearing, looking at the stage 2 chaotic ancestor saint with caution? This was something that they had never seen before. Did the stage 2 chaotic ancestor saint have a powerful background? Xing Yushan and the rest did not suspect that Xing Yuan was being cautious because of Murong Yu's strength. After all, Murong Yu looked like a stage 2 chaotic ancestor saint. Moreover, they did not realize how powerful Murong Yu was. Murong Yu glanced at Xing Yuan and snorted coldly. At this moment, Xian Hua and Meng Man, who were suppressed by Xing Yuan's aura and could not move, felt that the terrifying power that was suppressing them had disappeared. The 2 of them were shocked, but they knew that Murong Yu had made a move. Hence, they returned to Murong Yu's side without a word and looked at Xing Yuan solemnly. Xing Yuan was too powerful. He could suppress them with just his aura alone. Other than Murong Yu, no one else was his match. Xing Yuan was shocked when he saw that Murong Yu did not answer his question and had easily removed his suppression on Xian Hua and Meng Man. Xing Yuan's heart skipped a beat, and he had a higher opinion of Murong Yu. At the same time, his expression became more solemn and cautious. Who are you? Xing Yuan took a step forward and looked at Murong Yu solemnly. Xing Yushan and the rest were shocked when they heard that. They had never seen Xing Yuan so polite before. There had been cases of people breaking into the connoisseurs, but Xing Yuan had killed them without a word. In the fiend race, even the old ancestors of the other 9 great clans, Xing Yuan, could be disrespected. Overbearing and protective. This was the impression that Xing Yuan had given to Xing Yushan and the others. However, everything had been overturned today. Seeing the expressions of Xing Yushan and the others, How could Xing Yuan not know what they were thinking? But only he knew why he had become so polite. Morong Yu just stood there casually. He didn't say anything, nor did he release any powerful aura. Even so, it still gave Xing Yuan a huge amount of pressure. Even when facing Morong Yu, Xing Yuan's heart was enveloped by an extremely strong aura of death. Even the old ancestors of the 9 superclans did not make Xing Yuan feel this way. Xing Yuan, submit. Morong Yu looked at Xing Yuan and didn't answer his question. Instead, he said something that made the experts feel like it was a joke from a fairy tale. What are you? How dare you ask our old ancestors to submit? Before Xing Yuan could speak, one of the other 5 experts on the saint ranking stepped forward and shouted at Morong Yu. A cold murderous intent flashed across Morong Yu's eyes. At the same time, he struck out with his palm. Oh no! When Xing Yuan saw Morong Yu make a move, a bad feeling immediately welled up in his heart. At the same time, he also attacked. However, at the same time he made his move, an incomparably clear "pa" sound rang out, enveloping the entire Xing manor. At the same time, the expert on the saint ranking who shouted at Morong Yu spat out blood and was sent flying. Only then did everyone see that the expert on the saint ranking's head had been smashed. He was sent flying by Morong Yu's slap. What terrifying strength! The experts' hearts skipped a beat. They were all shocked by Morong Yu's strength. They didn't even see how Morong Yu attacked. In fact, it wasn't just him. Even Xing Yuan, who was ranked 600th on the saint ranking, didn't see how Morong Yu attacked. Even though Xing Yuan had already noticed Morong Yu's attack, he couldn't make it in time. The moment he attacked, Morong Yu had already sent the expert on the saint ranking flying with a slap. How dare you! Xing Yuan was shocked. However, he was infuriated by Morong Yu's arrogance. Morong Yu slapped the expert on the saint ranking, which was a slap to Xing Yuan's face. Xing Yuan shouted and took a step forward. He reached out his hand and attacked Morong Yu. Morong Yu stood calmly on the spot. His expression didn't change at all. Xing Yuan, I'll only give you one chance. Submit or die. Looking at Morong Yu's indifferent expression, Xing Yuan's heart sank. Unknowingly, the attacks aimed at Morong Yu also stopped. Who do you think you are? We experts are one of the top 10 families in the evil demon tribe. How dare you ask us to submit to you? You must be dreaming. Xing Yushan was afraid of Morong Yu, but he couldn't help but shout. However, as he spoke, he walked behind Xing Yuan without leaving a trace. He was probably afraid that Morong Yu would send him flying with a slap. Ancestor, although this person is powerful, if we join forces, we might be able to kill him. Once we kill him, Xianhua won't be able to escape. As long as we get the evil demon's heart, the entire evil demon tribe will belong to us experts. While shouting at Morong Yu, Xing Yushan transmitted his voice to Xing Yuan. Hearing this, Xing Yuan's eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. At the same time, he laughed out loud. Where did this arrogant kid come from? I'll kill you today. As he spoke, Xing Yuan attacked. He threw a punch at Morong Yu. A cold light flashed in Morong Yu's eyes. Looks like you've made your choice. Since that's the case, I'll beat you until you submit. Both of you back off. I'll suppress this guy who doesn't know what's good for him. After Morong Yu shouted at Xianhua and Meng Man to back off, he took a step forward. Boom. At the same time, Morong Yu finally released his terrifying aura after breaking through. Plop, just as Morong Yu's aura enveloped the entire Xing mansion, countless disciples in the mansion were suppressed. One by one, they fell to the ground with a look of horror on their faces. Their bodies were trembling uncontrollably. Even the primal Chaos Ancestor Saints were the same. No one was spared. Only the experts on the saint ranking could hold on for a while, but only for a while. After a moment, all the experts except for their ancestor, Xing Yuan, including their patriarch, Xing Yushan, couldn't withstand Morong Yu's aura and fell to the ground. Shock. There was nothing but shock. Even Xian Hua and Meng Man were the same. They all knew that Morong Yu was powerful, but they didn't expect Morong Yu's strength to be so terrifying. Just his aura alone suppressed almost all the experts. While everyone was shocked by Morong Yu's strength, Morong Yu was somewhat dissatisfied. Because he originally thought that his aura could suppress Xing Yuan, but now Xing Yuan was clearly not suppressed. Although Xing Yuan was resisting with great difficulty and pain, he was still not suppressed, right? If Xing Yuan knew what Morong Yu was thinking right now, he'd probably faint on the spot. At this moment, he was resisting with great difficulty and pain. Morong Yu's aura was like an ancient fierce beast, powerful and ferocious. Even though Xing Yuan used all his strength, he still couldn't withstand it. However, he was still unable to resist and was gradually suppressed by Morong Yu's pressure. Xing Yuan felt that he wouldn't be able to withstand it after a while. At that time, he would be like Xing Yushan and the others, suppressed by Morong Yu and lying on the ground like a dead dog. Embarrassing. He was an expert ranked 600th on the Saint leaderboard. How could he be suppressed by a person's aura? Even if this person's ranking on the human saint leaderboard was higher than his, it was still not enough. Every expert on the saint leaderboard had their own dignity as an expert. The stronger one was, the stronger this dignity was. Therefore, Xing Yuan's heart was burning with rage. All of a sudden, Xing Yuan let out an explosive roar, shattering Morong Yu's pressure. His entire body smashed through billions of space-time, and his entire body was like an ancient fierce beast as he charged toward Morong Yu. During this process, he had gathered all his strength in the top-grade Chaos Ancestral Artifact in his hand and slashed down at Morong Yu. A look of surprise flashed across Morong Yu's eyes. At this moment, Xing Yuan's strength was twice as strong as before. He was probably ranked 500th or even 500th on the Saint leaderboard. However, even so, it was useless. There was still a huge gap between his strength and Morong Yu's. You overestimate yourself. Morong Yu shook his head and said in disdain. At the same time, he threw out a punch. Boom. Crack. In a split second, Morong Yu's fist had already smashed into the Chaos Ancestral Artifact in Xing Yuan's hand. In less than 100th of a second, the top-grade Chaos Ancestral Artifact in Xing Yuan's hand actually shattered into countless pieces and splattered in all directions. Breaking the top-grade Chaos Ancestral Artifact with a single punch? At this moment, aside from Morong Yu, everyone else was stunned. Just how powerful was his strength and body? Everyone wasn't just shocked, they were speechless. They were speechless because of Morong Yu's strength. Little did they know that Morong Yu's physical body had already reached the level of a Chaos Ancestral Artifact. After the breakthrough a few days ago, although his physical body hadn't reached the level of a Supreme Artifact, it was much stronger than before. In addition to Morong Yu's own strength, it was relatively easy for him to break a Chaos Ancestral Artifact. While Xing Yuan was still in shock, Morong Yu's fist had already pushed forward and landed on Xing Yuan's body. With a bang, Xing Yuan's physical body exploded into a cloud of blood mist that bloomed in the void. Seeing this, Xing Yushan and the others felt a chill in their hearts. Morong Yu was too powerful. Even their old ancestor wasn't a match for Morong Yu. Chapter 1688. Bang. While Xing Yushan and the other experts felt their hearts turn cold and were at a loss, their ancestor Xing Yuan's figure appeared in front of them once again. Morong Yu had only destroyed Xing Yuan's physical body with one punch. He did not destroy him, nor did he kill his soul. Otherwise, how could he recover his physical body? Destruction and annihilation were two completely different concepts. Only the physical body would be destroyed. However, after the physical body was destroyed, the visible and invisible fragments would still exist. As long as the person who was destroyed was willing, They could reassemble the fragments and recover their physical body with just a thought. But annihilation was different. All the fragments would be destroyed so that they would not be able to recover. Given Morong Yu's current strength, it would be quite easy for him to destroy Xing Yuan. Therefore, after Xing Yuan recovered his physical body, he looked at Morong Yu with a grave expression. In fact, there was even a hint of fear in the depths of his eyes. However, Xing Yushan and the others were relieved. As long as their ancestor was not destroyed, there was a possibility of killing Morong Yu. As long as they were experts, they would not be destroyed. Xing Yuan, I'll give you one more chance. Submit or die. Morong Yu did not make a move immediately. Instead, he looked at Xing Yuan indifferently. However, Morong Yu's behavior gave Xing Yuan a lot of pressure. When he thought about Morong Yu's terrifying strength, Xing Yuan's heart turned cold. Instead of answering Morong Yu, Xing Yuan stared at Morong Yu and asked, "Who exactly are you?" Morong Yu smiled. At this point, there was no need for him to hide his identity. After all, it would spread sooner or later. Therefore, he said, "Morong Yu." "What? You're Morong Yu?" Hearing Morong Yu's words, the experts were shocked. In particular, Xing Yuan was not scared to death. They knew that Morong Yu had saved Xian Hua. The Fiend race even cooperated with the Phoenix race to kill Morong Yu. Meng Man was the expert they had sent out. But now, Meng Man had become Morong Yu's subordinate. In other words, their plan to kill Morong Yu had failed once again. Moreover, Xing Yuan had also witnessed Morong Yu's strength. However, he was still the ancestor of an expert, one of the top powerhouses of the Fiend clan. How could he submit to Morong Yu? Whoosh! All of a sudden, the expert ancestor's figure flashed. His entire body broke through the void and fled towards the distance. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. Especially the experts, they were so stunned that they couldn't react. Their ancestor had actually fled without a fight. Furthermore, he did not pay any attention to them at all. Morong Yu was also stunned. This Xing Yuan did not have the demeanor of an expert at all. He actually fled just like that? However, Morong Yu quickly came to his senses. He snorted coldly, took a step forward, and disappeared from where he was. Although you are extremely powerful, don't expect me to submit to you. Even if I can't defeat you, can't I escape? Xing Yuan thought helplessly. He also knew that his actions today would definitely cause his reputation in the Fiend race to plummet. He might even be laughed at by others. However, he was unwilling to submit. Rather than being laughed at, he would rather be free. Freedom was the most important thing. Whoosh! Xing Yuan, who was flying at high speed, suddenly stopped as if he had braked. Xing Yuan, who had suddenly stopped, looked ahead with a pale face. Deep in his eyes there was fear. This was because not far in front of him, Morong Yu was looking at him with a smile. He was extremely powerful and his speed was extremely fast. A feeling of helplessness surged in Xing Yuan's heart. In front of Morong Yu, he was like an ant. He could not defeat Morong Yu at all. He did not even have the qualifications to fight with Morong Yu. Morong Yu's face suddenly turned cold. Xing Yuan, the expert ranked 600th on the Saint ranking. Your strength is not bad. However, you are too stupid. You wasted 2 chances. In the end, you still forced me to make a move. Boom. Morong Yu had just finished speaking when Xing Yuan made a move. In an instant, he exploded with his strongest attack towards Morong Yu. He had a bad feeling from Morong Yu's words. Since Morong Yu had made a move, there were only 2 endings for him. Fall or become Morong Yu's slave. No matter which ending it was, Xing Yuan was unwilling to choose. Hence, he made a move decisively. However, Morong Yu could even fight against experts like Feng Tsangqiong, let alone Xing Yuan. In a flash, Morong Yu avoided Xing Yuan's attack. Then, Morong Yu made a move. One move. And it was still one move. Morong Yu only threw out a simple punch, and Xing Yuan was killed without being able to dodge. This made Xing Yuan feel very helpless. The difference in strength between the two was really too big. Moreover, this time, Morong Yu didn't plan to talk nonsense with Xing Yuan. This guy didn't have any thoughts of surrendering. No matter how many options he had, he wouldn't choose. Hence, after destroying Xing Yuan's physical body with one punch, Morong Yu reached out his hand and directly controlled Xing Yuan's soul. Xing Yuan was terrified. "Morong Yu, what are you doing? You refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Originally, as long as you surrendered, I didn't plan to do anything to you. Now you only have yourself to blame for everything." While speaking, Morong Yu's incomparably huge soul directly covered Xing Yuan's soul. Amidst Xing Yuan's screams, Morong Yu quickly controlled his soul. Although Xing Yuan wasn't a soul saint, the soul of an expert on the saint ranking was very powerful. If Morong Yu hadn't broken through, it wouldn't be so easy to control his soul. However, his soul had already reached the 7-star level. In front of a 7-star soul, Xing Yuan's soul was completely powerless. "Saint Lord!" Xing Yuan recovered his soul and stood in front of Morong Yu. He bowed respectfully to Morong Yu. Although he wasn't willing to do so, he had already become Morong Yu's slave. Now, if Morong Yu wanted him dead, he didn't even need to lift a finger. With just a thought, he would die without a doubt. "Everyone, back down. Do what you need to do." After returning to the sky above the experts, Xing Yuan shouted loudly. Seeing that the old ancestor who had escaped had returned and was respectful to Morong Yu, Xing Yushan and the others had a bad feeling in their hearts. Sure enough, after Xing Yuan shouted at everyone to back down, only the experts on the saint ranking remained. "Old ancestor, are we really going to submit to Morong Yu?" In the hall, one of the experts on the saint ranking looked at Xing Yuan in disbelief. Slap! Xing Yuan immediately slapped him. The difference in strength between the two was too great. Xing Yushan and the others couldn't react at all. Lord Xianhua is the master chosen by the evil demon's heart. In the future, he will definitely control the entire evil demon tribe and become the master of all the evil demon tribe. We experts will be the meritorious subjects who will help Lord conquer the world. Once the evil demon tribe is unified, we experts will be the founders of the evil demon tribe. Xing Yuan glanced at Xing Yushan and the others and said in a deep voice. Xing Yushan and the others nodded slightly. However, they were still unwilling to submit. "You guys are really stubborn. You forced me to make a move." Morong Yu frowned slightly and said coldly. At the same time, his terrifying aura erupted and instantly enveloped the entire hall. Plop, Xing Yushan and the other 4 experts on the saint ranking were directly suppressed to the ground. Morong Yu didn't hold back and directly controlled their souls. In the end, Morong Yu even gave their soul pearls to Xianhua. Even Xing Yuan's soul pearl was the same. In other words, Xianhua now controlled the life and death of Xing Yuan and the others. As long as Xianhua crushed their soul pearls, they would immediately die. After forcefully controlling the expert's ancestors, Xianhua finally controlled the expert. However, this was just the beginning. The experts were only the weakest among the 10 great families. There were still 9 families waiting for Xianhua to subdue. "Lord, we experts are on good terms with the Ning family. I can send a message to Ning Haoran and ask him to come over. Then we can quickly control him with lightning speed. After that, we can control the entire Ning family." Before Morong Yu could say anything, Xing Yuan had already suggested a plan. This was the benefit of controlling their souls. If Xianhua or Morong Yu died, they would also die. Moreover, once their plan to unify the evil demon tribe failed, they might be killed. If they helped Xianhua unify the evil demon tribe, their position in Xianhua's heart would be higher. Therefore, Xing Yuan offered a plan. "How's Ning Haoran's strength?" Morong Yu asked indifferently. "Ranked 100th on the saint rankings," Xing Yuan said in a deep voice. Xian Hua and Meng Man couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Xing Yuan was really bold. With their strength, they dared to ambush Ning Haoran, ranked 100th on the Saint rankings? If not for Murong Yu, they would have died without a doubt. They were no match for Ning Haoran at all. However, wasn't there Murong Yu? It was also because of Murong Yu that Xing Yuan dared to sacrifice and set up an ambush. Murong Yu nodded. A powerhouse ranked 100th on the Saint rankings was still no threat to him. Moreover, this was much better than attacking the Ning family directly. Therefore, Xing Yuan sent out an invitation to Ning Haoran to come over. During this process, Xing Yuan used a great magical power to erase the memories of the experts and those in the city who had seen Murong Yu. This was something that Murong Yu suddenly thought of. He had too many enemies and too powerful. If his relationship with Xian Hua was exposed, Xian Hua would definitely be targeted by Feng Tsangqiong and the others. With Feng Tsangqiong's strength, Xian Hua couldn't resist at all. What's more, Murong Yu had also offended the 3 sovereigns of the immemorial battlefield. These 3 people were Murong Yu's biggest enemies now. Ning family was not far from the experts. Very soon, Ning Haoran arrived at the expert's place. On the other hand, Xing Yuan welcomed Ning Haoran with a hearty laugh and led him into the main hall. Lord, this person is one of the people who killed Zhao Yun back then. Ning Haoran had just entered the main hall when Hichu's voice rang in Murong Yu's mind. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.